Come on over here to the Bridge the Gap, the Behind That Suit interview series. We want to talk to you. As y'all might know, my name is Holden Stephan Roy, and joining me today is Sammieec. Y'all don't even know the level of energy you're about to get out of this lady. There is almost nobody I have fucking met in this city that has the energy that this person here in front of us has. So check it. One time, I go to this show. It's a CY event, and we're doing this thing. And Sammieec comes out, and she's dressed up, ready to fucking go. And she comes out and drops this weird fusion mosh pit shit like I've not actually seen a lot of people ever really do anywhere ever. And she just owned it. She didn't give two shits. She brought that energy like it was crazy. We shot the shit, etc. And we linked up. And since then, I've been watching her grow. I watched her put out countless good music. They was all just vibing to your shit, right? So they heard what you just sounded like. They know how talented you are right now. And on the reels, though, on top of all of that, I watched her build this little fitness empire that she's got going on. Her knowledge is paramount. She goes live more than I think anybody on Facebook knows how to do. We are in for a treat because her story is going to be fucking fun to go through. So, all right, let's get into this first. Let's get into the first, sorry?
Shout out to you for holding this down, man. You're working fucking hard, so that's all blessed to you. I appreciate you.
Thank you for your kind words. So let's do it. Let's get that first almost token question I like to start the streams off with. How it comes back to like our childhood, right? Because at the end of the day, you're a very musical person and your music is fucking talented and amazing. But the truth about music is it starts in the youth. It starts before it's inside of our control. A lot of people start the story out like, yo, what's your favorite influence? Nah, it starts earlier than that, right? So it goes back to when you was a kid. And what inspired this was one day my girlfriend is washing the dishes, listening to some Black Eyed Peas, some 10-year-old shit, the I got a feeling, the vibes like that. And she's fucking rocking around. And I'm like, yo, this is club music, right? Like once upon a time, this is fucking club music. And now it's chores music, which made me go, yo, once upon a time, somebody around you was doing chores, rocking out to some shit while you was in the room. Maybe you was in the car one time and it's a different vibe. Maybe you was up walking down the street and it's a whole different vibe. So what I really, really want to know to start your musical journey is not what your your preferences were, but more what were the preferences of your parental unit surrounding you, and what did you get subjugated to as a youth and started your musical journey?
Well, first, my mom, she would listen to a lot of jazz. First of all, I want to say sorry because I'm really not good with names. So if you ask me names, it'll be
No,
like
don't worry about it.
short. But it would be like a lot of jazz, some rock. I would listen to a lot of screamo, R&B, hip hop. Uh, a lot of soul, different stuff. Honestly, as I said, names it's gonna be hard to because I have had a lot of concussions, so my memory is not the best. But
Fair
yeah, we
enough.
used to go around when we were be cleaning and just jam out to music like Mary J. Blige, Usher, Shaggy, different stuff like that. Um, and yeah, that's pretty much it. It
No,
was
that's
fire. We'd go around cleaning our place and just getting everything done, jamming to music. Um, Trying to think of some names. It's really hard to pick some
honestly,
names.
you still gave us a lot, right? So what we learned from that real quick is that it was a multi-diverse background and that music is associated with getting stuff done in your life. That was a lot of takeaways with what you said right there for everybody.
I really tried, honestly. I was like, names, as I said, I'm really an artist that's very, as you said the other day, a music slut. I'm all over the place with different type of music, so I never really stick to one type of music, as you probably can tell in my music. Um, a lot of my music that I would listen to would be honestly a lot of singing stuff like Evanescence, a lot of heavy metal stuff actually, a lot of screamo stuff. I was very angry as a kid, so a lot of screamo stuff.
So what kind of okay? Let's ask a different question about your music back then. Like, what era of music are you growing up in terms of technology? Are you on the YouTubes? Are you doing MP3s? Are you with CDs? Like, what was going on in your world in that front?
I was I was like CDs, MP3. like that kind of stuff. So, for example, like release stuff like Mary J. Blige. My first CD was Shaggy, actually. It wasn't me.
Okay.
And yeah, stuff like that. Like Marvin Gaye's and
So how old were
few.
you when you got your first CD, and why did you end up getting that one? Do you remember?
I think I was like maybe like 10. I was super excited. Like also to what's his name? Punjabi. You know, Dale Luputari. I
Yeah,
don't
that
know.
one.
I
Yeah,
don't know if you ever heard.
the Punjabi
But
MC track there.
I
Yeah.
love the sounds. I love the sounds. Really, the sounds would attract me and how the cadence would be. So anything that would be like a little bit weird is like super awesome. Like just stuff I out of the box really. Like I really look at artists that are not really seen. Like I don't know if you know FK Twigs,
Mm,
SZA, like stuff like that. Recently, uh, but yeah.
fair enough. So
Sorry
when
about
did,
that. If it's not the best quality of
Nah,
information,
we
I'm
just
trying
getting
my
warmed
best.
up. We just jumped in. We just started. Don't even stress. Everybody's here. Everybody's chilling. It's a good fucking time. That's all it is. It's good vibes. Like that track you have. It's a vibe, you know?
You know
Um,
what it is.
so like when did you decide you were gonna start to pursue music? Like was this always something you were into when you were a kid? Or is this something that came a little bit later on in life? And on top of music, were you doing other stuff like dancing and arts? Like were you multifaceted?
Yes, 100%. I was doing a lot of artist stuff. I was doing a lot of singing. I started singing when I was like probably 8 or 9. I used to be in fucking back of the car. My mom would play like random tracks. I'd be like singing in my head and somehow knowing all the words. Also, I would do a lot of drawing. I used to be like a little hustler in elementary school. I would sell like little stencils of like sketches
Okay.
I did Pokemon and like bracelets that I made. Like, yeah, I'd come back like stacks of like $10, $15 of bracelets and stuff. I just chopped off people. Um,
How
I
did you get
always
into that? That's really fucking cool. You're talking about being a hustler as a kid. So first of all, the chat's invested. We already got Zed up in there talking about how he's into the fact that you like weird and out of the box stuff. We got invested people commenting. Your lady friend Bonnie likes how the good music makes cleaning easier. So just so you know, they find you super interesting right now. All right. So why don't you elaborate just a little bit on your young time hustler stuff? How did that start? Because this is amazing. It's so cool.
well, because I realized I can make stuff that were really great at a young age. I realized that like my stuff is different, and I recommend everybody like, yo, you're doing your shit. Like it's your fingerprint. Flex your fingerprint. Nobody's like you, right? So no matter what you do, if you're trying to compete, really, your competition is yourself. And I realized that yo, I was like mad dope at sketching like Pokemon and stuff. Like it looked exactly at what it was. So I was like realizing like yo, I can make this stuff happen. So like I started selling it. Even I was doing like fabric paint tops. So I would actually like spend like 2 3 hours like drying up some shit. And I would actually chop it for like that was when I got a little bit older. Chop for like $30. People would buy like scarves and tops and shit. And yeah, like I always was the type that when I was younger, I would always be singing and dancing. Like really since I was younger, since I had like a up and down childhood, my thing was always to try to make people happy as much as possible. I never want to see anybody like go down, but I know that every down comes up. So my goal was always to like have like be pumped up, like get what you need to do, flex on your shit every day. So I really realized like I was capable of doing some stuff. I started writing actually uh, when I was, I think like 4 years ago, 5 years ago. And I realized I can start writing because I used to write poetry and I used to write stories to
When you
my
say
mom.
used to, when was that?
Well, when I was younger, probably when I was like, before I started writing song, I was writing stories and poetry when I was like at least 12, 13. Like I would go and I would show my mom these stories that I'd write would be like fucking, I don't know where I came from. These stories, it'd be like really like like thriller stories, or I would come up with these poetry, or I would even be like when I was super young, singing in the shower and like making up songs like out of the blue, and it'd be like so fire, and I was like so excited about it. So then I realized like, yo, I was just writing poetry and it was actually like music. I started realizing like my writing, even if I didn't try to write a song, it was actually a song because it was an expression, and that's the song, expression of your being,
You elaborate on that point. That's an interesting idea. So, what do you mean by how a song is expression of your being?
Well, I feel like you write a song every single day, right? Like we decide what we're gonna do with our day, how we're gonna feel as much as we can, And I feel like the music that we write, at least for myself personally, every song that I write is a personal song. Like one of the songs there's two songs that I really wrote. Well, all the songs are from experiences that I've been through, but your music is your life, like it's what you go through, for example, like we see people that are like write about the hood, or we see people that are more lyrical, you write about your experiences, right? Like I couldn't be going to talk about like me going shut that with like guts and shit, like I don't do that, so you live in your music reflects on your lifestyle, I feel, at least, unless like people write for publicity view. I always write from experiences I've been through. And my music is the type of music. It's not like, for now at least. Later, Obi will fucking bump and shit, but like right now, it's like really internally see what you are. And my music right now is like the underground type that like you find on the internet, and you're just vibing, chilling. Like we need music like that too. Not like always like,
Mm.
yeah, like we're like, yeah too, but like get your vulnerability out in your music, because that's what you're showing. That's what you're trying to show. No, I
I
think.
mean, personally,
So,
I'm into that branding. I'm on board with that. I've been. It was actually really challenging, but as I've gotten older, it's become simpler to put more of my insecurities and weaknesses into the track, and I believe there's a lot of strength in that for sure. But that took like a whole life to get to that kind of epiphanies. Is this the kind of stuff you were always into, or like as a youth, were you like, because you feel like when you were young, you had a very similar energy, or is this like also something that's kind of attached to your journey that kind of grew into this person?
well, a lot of my life was forming. I had to form my life. Uh, Really, I've been the person that got my life a lot of my life. Even though I had my family around, I was really my biggest support system. So really, um, go back to the question again. I'm
So I
like
guess what
zoned out.
okay,
I got like,
let's I'm gonna rework it. Let's go back in time a little bit to you. So you're a teenager. I like to kind of go through your life, right? Because you it's just because it's interesting to see how you got to where you are, and along the way we're gonna find cool stories that are gonna be there to talk about, right? So like if we go back to your 12, 13, you start writing your poetry, you're writing stories. I have a question about that. Are you reading? Are you a reader at this time? Are you like attuned to the world? What kind of stuff are you like interested in that got you to this point where you want to write poetry and stories?
well, honestly, a lot of my writing was like fucking bullshit that I went through. So I was like, I'm just gonna. My writing was medication. It was how I was dealing with things. So like, um, I wasn't really a person that would express things, which is so crazy. And I thank God every day, because the only reason why I'm able to communicate as such, because I've been through a lot of experiences where I like sit with myself, but like it was my way of like expressing how I would like deal with stuff. Like in my childhood, I was like a lot bullied and stuff for being who I was. So um, me writing and expressing and then like making it into something and showing it, it was really showing the expression of who I was and what I like am.
Yeah, I relate to that a lot actually. I went through a lot in high school in a similar vein. I started writing poetry and stories and stuff all throughout high school, and it was a huge coping mechanism for me to be able to like manage it all, because I can relate a lot to being kind of weird like that and having to deal with some of the consequences that come with that. So, yo, it's so cool that you're sharing it, because look at who you are today, right? So it's really inspiring to see the person that you are today in light of all of that.
I appreciate that, man. You know, I always say to people like, no matter what your circumstances is, you're making your reality, right? And no matter what's happened to us, it's what we're gonna make happen to us, you know. And sometimes it's hard, but like, whatever you went through is gonna be a chapter to help somebody, you know. Like, look, it's crazy because it's never on your time to receive things. You will always receive your things, but it's never on your time. And your recognition will come when it's supposed to. Like, I've been doing music for a minute. Now people are mostly checking it. But you know why? It's because I decided to see everything I am. You know, I feel like once you step into everything you are,
Mm.
people can see
So,
everything you give.
so let's rewind that. Let's go into, okay, when did your like actual like art journey begin? Because usually what happens, I find, first of all, you're born in Montreal or you're born somewhere else? We didn't even cover the basics. I'm such a bad interviewer.
It's because we're just dabbing. You know, we got into that shit. Yeah, I'm from Montreal.
Which part?
Right. You said with art. My
No, I
family.
said which part of Montreal are you from? Montreal's big.
Oh, El Pro, the
Okay.
West. I was always from the West. Um, sorry if I'm a little like cause it's a little bit
Yeah,
cold.
it's all good.
Art. You said it when I started with art. You said.
Yeah, like when did you actually like start that? I find a lot of people like it's either in high school or somewhere near to the end of high school. They go from this moment of I'm expressing it to like, yo, I can actually do this. So, do you remember about what point in your life that happened and what you were up to that led to that moment?
It was 2017, and that was like, I'm not gonna like not express who I am because people don't know what it is. I'm just gonna let it be shown because I had a very hard time when I went into high school. I was like super fucking hard. I was like, don't touch me, don't talk to me, whatever. And my sister was like, you gotta chill, you're not gonna make any friends. Like, so then I started like expressing and I started doing like rapping, like MC. I never call it rapping. I excuse myself because I'm not a rapper. I'm MC. Talk lyrically.
Yo, hold
But
up. I think that's a worth it thing to expand on. We can always go back to your story, but that's a hot topic. Define the difference to you between an MC and a rapper and why you would pick the MC title over the rapper title.
well, for me, there's nothing bad with both or of any of them. Just see, like for me, like a rapper, I feel you're talking about like games, hoes, bitches, money, clothes, everything external. And your MC, you're talking about your culture. You're talking about life. You're talking about the growth. You're helping from yourself, you know. And as I said, rapping is sick too because you got that sick wordplay. It's more of that I got that back to back, you know, like click that, you know. And not saying that you can't do that lyrically, you can too, but lyrically is like me, everything I do, I want to try to impact something. So I feel like I like the view of an MC more for myself because I personally I'm trying to impact people. I'm not trying to show people. Where I feel
Mm.
like rapping is more of a industry and the show and the performing, you know. But both are sick. I would love to still even know how to like do rapping, like whatever you. Everybody's per se of what rapping is will
So,
be different.
if I can like just paraphrase it, because we getting calls for some knowledge nuggets on that one from the chats, which is dope. Because you brought that's like it's a point of view perspective, right? So on the one hand, you have the art of being an MC, which is about being a cultural force that uses this world to be a let's say like a influence towards others to let's say uplift for the sake of community building. So it's very community centric. Whereas rap, to be a rapper in this is a little more theatrical. It's almost like playing in imaginative playgrounds for the sake of the dramatic. And I know that a lot of rappers and battle rappers especially hate that version of how I'm putting it, but it's not meant to be insulting. It's like, listen, maybe a little bit of it is actually fantasy and hyperbolic for the sake of good art, which is amazing. But it
Rap
is
is
kind of,
sick though. Rap is
it
fucking
is.
sick
I like
too.
it. I like it a
That's
lot. Listen,
not,
it took me a minute to get into some of this shit, but like, yo, I'm really into melodic trap right now. I like to throw on shit like the Migos is in here. Like, it's good stuff. It's really
that's
enjoyable.
I
It's
fuck with it too. Like most of the stuff I listen to is actually that type of shit. But like I don't like the shit I listen to is like fucking vibe, what the fuck that music, like oh shit. But like the stuff I write is different. It's just because I don't live that, right?
Right.
So it depends what you're living, right? So I can understand somebody's talking about hoes and pimping and all that shit. If you're doing that, like, yo, flex your shit if you're doing it. You know, I have nothing against your shit. But for me personally, I can only relate to me telling my truth. I'm not like fucking partying every day or like fucking hoes and shit. You know, like
So let's expand on that just a little bit. Take a character like Nas, because he's a good example for the sake of this conversation. He wasn't necessarily a person who lived that life. He was surrounded by these elements and reported on it in almost a journalistic perspective through his art. Like you listen to that one, "I Give You Power," where it's like the tale of the gun. Like it doesn't matter if he shot a gun ever in his life or not. The way he told that story is an art piece within itself. So what about then when you're being hyperbolic for the point of social commentary? Is that like an in between that makes it kind of like a rapper MC?
I think it's cool like that too. I think like as I said, like okay, I say MC, but it's like you're everything. So it doesn't mean I'm not gonna be doing rapping. If I was doing, for me, it depends on each artist, right? Like
Mm.
if you're comfortable to make, and you could make a storyline and like make something out of it, like yo, flex it, do you know what I mean? But as you
Oh,
said, for
big
me, like
respect. That was a big question. I know. I just was curious. You got my brain thinking because you're really smart with this shit, yo. You're saying some really interesting stuff. Like I think a lot about the difference between a participant and the culture myself, which is what I'm trying to pursue. And yo, on the real, I listen to some wild shit that people would make fun of me for if they knew it on the real. Some of this really like bad music, but I don't write that because that's not the life I want. But I relate to that. But because so yo, I learned how to dance this year, got in my energy on, and once you can like fucking mosh out for 30, 40 minutes, your whole perspective on turn up music is a little bit different than if you're not jumping around for 40 minutes. That's all I'm saying a little bit on that.
that's what I'm saying though. But you know what? It's all fucking blessed at the end of the day. You know what I mean? I love the bump out your shit. Like I love that flex. It's fucking fire too. But like
Right.
everything has its time. You know what I mean? Like I wouldn't be surprised. Like yo, when I'm like stacking on my shit, yo, I'm gonna fucking flex my shit. Like yo, when my time is, I'm gonna be like coming to eat and taking my crown. Like I already have my crown. I don't need to take it because there's nothing to take. You
Love
take
it.
yourself and you make yourself, right? I ain't in the competition with nobody but myself. So, but it's like everything I feel has its time. Like, for example, right now for me, it's more music internalizing when I'm fucking partying and shit, and like I have mad chicks around me and that life's popping off. If it were to be that way, how I'd want it to be, then yo, I would flex on that too. Like, you
I
do
respect
it,
that. But what I
yeah.
respect about the way you put it is that, because look, at the end of the day, you put it out there earlier in this conversation a little bit. You were like, some people are in this for the art and being the artist. And I use the word artist to describe you. I started using it a little more liberally because, it's not, you're not just a rapper, you sing. You're not just a this, you're that. You're a lot of things. You're an artist. Even with your like fitness stuff that we'll get to, you're an artist in your approach, right? In my opinion. So, like, it is fair to put it. But at the end of the day, some people are really like good at the other side of this, and that isn't bad, which is also part of what you've been saying. Like you're very tolerant and open-minded with it, which I think a lot of people could learn from. That's really cool. um
I appreciate
so
that, man. That means a lot.
so you
Appreciate
said
that.
high school was complicated, but it inspired the shit out of you is what I took from that part of your life. What happens after high school?
Well, then I fucking focus on myself and I say, fuck everybody what they're saying on my shit. Cause you know what? You've been flexing on your shit. So what do you have to fucking say about my shit? You know what I mean? The thing that I hate the most, yo,
was,
straight talk though, it's true. And I realize, yo, like, yo, you best respect yourself because if you don't respect yourself, how the fuck are you gonna expect people to respect you? You know what I mean? And when I realized I started respecting my art more and respecting myself, I realized I wasn't all like what people thought of what my music was and shit. Yo, then I'm flexing on
okay, so
myself.
when did you actually start like getting into this like for real? So let's say you're 17, 18, you're finishing high school. What's going on in your life at this point?
So 17, 18, then I went into like a lot of people don't know this, but I was like doing hairdressing and shit. So I was
Oh,
like
that's cool.
yeah, it was like, but it was like crazy time because like it's a trip for everybody now that they think I'm doing shit now. Is because I went on a huge depression for like a while, so I stopped doing stuff for a while, and everything was like a fucking blank. But like I was in hairdressing for a while, and just started writing, and that's when I wrote Arc, the first album. It was like a whole bunch of different stuff. I was with a really older woman at the time, and it was like an experience I never experienced. Like a lot of my writing was out of experiences that people wouldn't experience. Like I was with somebody that was like fucking a lot like old enough to be my fucking mom and shit, and like a lot of fucking people wouldn't experience that type of shit. You know what I mean? So I like fucking used my whatever I was going through to like fucking just
All right, so let's talk about writing that project a bit because that's a super interesting thing we gotta talk about. So I'm interested in a few aspects of it. So first, let's talk about the music. How did that come to be? Do you make your beats? Do you find your beats? How does that process work in your life at this point?
I usually like go on BeatStars. BeatStars flex on BeatStars, yo. Like yo, they have good stuff too, man. And shout out to Make Way. I've been going to their studio whenever I usually do tracks and shit. Also shout out Uno and Shay's doing his thing too. So yeah, I would go through hard times, and really my music comes from like really fucking changing times in my life. So for example, Her Feels um it's like in that song it was like about like how sometimes things feel good for you but they're not always good for you, and you do it anyways, but you know it's not, they're not good,
Mm-hmm.
you
Everybody
know.
knows that feeling, but it's cool that
So
you
like
took that.
I would sit down in my emotions and just be with it. Like there's another song called Never Mind. It was like all of the time they say never mind. Like forget about your dreams. And then I see it in my scenes. And then I was like you see, like they tell you all the time no, and then I see it in my dreams. I see it in my reality. Every time they said no, even still, I still continued. You see, so it goes from my situations. Like I feel like the most beautiful songs for myself personally are songs that like I thrive on people say I can't do it. So if you're trying to flex me, I tell me I can't do it, bro. For myself, it's like I know I can. So it's like then I would take from that detrimental time and I would build. I build off destruction because that's when you can construct, right?
Okay.
From the bases, from the solid. You know what the fuck time it is.
All right. That was cool. So if I understand correctly, you went through some real life shit. You took the emotions, you processed them, you put them into music, you translated it into some dope ass fire stuff with a lot of them. You then proceeded to flex in like perfect pitch and shit, like just singing right now. Like I was like that was live. Like that was there's no effects. This is like we ain't
Yo,
fancy like that. That was
when I
beautiful
go
sounding.
respect, bro. I appreciate that, bro. Like, yo, me honestly, when I go in the studio, that's why I'm so picky with different things. But the thing is,
Well,
what I
hold up.
really
What kind of things are you picky with? Yo, we gotta teach the people what to think about.
so I'm picky with the fact that it's like um I can't really say I'm picky. I think I'm gonna have to take back that label. I think I like insulted myself
No,
there.
but still,
Not
what kind
really
of stuff do you care about for a studio? It's an
I
interesting question.
really I really care. Like, well, usually when I go in the studio, I usually have my song and I know how I want it to sound, and I know what time at the time it's supposed to be at that time of the music. I feel like music, like you write to the music and music writes to you. I don't know how to explain it. Um, so like let's say I know for example my song when I start my lyrics I start on 15 seconds. I know that my next one I'm gonna start on 25 seconds. Like I know, like I check that type of shit. But the thing is, like, for example, like there's another song called "Her Feels." Oh my god, it was like, and it's so beautiful, and I'm so I'm kind of discussing artists honestly. I'm not trying to say it like offensively, but like nobody listens to lyrics anymore. Y'all fucking bumping your head and shit to like I'm not saying, as I said, I fuck with music that's all over the place, but nobody listens to music and like yo, some of the tracks that I have, bro, like if you listen to the lyrics and even other people, there's some really fire artists that's like nobody listens to lyrics, and that's why it's
Well,
not popped off.
I think that there's
So
definitely something to be said that, as an example, yesterday we went through our contest entries. The people were listening to your lyrics on that shit and that stream, right?
let's
So there was
go.
like 10 people there or so. It's not like crazy numbers, but I
But
think
that was
there
fire.
I think there's a marketing issue the whole world is facing right now in this same conversation. And I think you have a valid point that to some degree or another, it's hard to get people to listen. And I absolutely agree with you on that. But I think even just doing something like this, you're doing other interviews and stuff, right? It's things like this that are getting people to see your soul, right? And yo,
That's
I
exactly.
guarantee you a couple of these people after this are going to be Sammieec fans after this. Why? Because how could they not be? Look at the sincerity you're putting out into the world. And that's why,
Uh,
like, I'm enjoying this process because we get to show people what Montreal is. And that's fucking
and
cool.
just
A life raw
yo, it's just
experience.
fire though. You guys are like fucking fire though. But like as I said, like I think like yo, my one of my songs, Her Feels, oh my god, it's so amazing. The lyrics, like hold on 2 seconds. Give me 2 seconds. Okay? I just wanna
You got
plug it.
this. You got take your
Yeah,
2 seconds.
I'll sing to you while I say it. So it's like it goes, my eyes take me, and then it goes like, my eyes ask me why, and it goes, my eyes answer. Sorry, my was a little bit off. Sorry.
Yo, it's fun. This is fun for
Most of
everybody.
all, he got answer, and it was like, oh my god. Sorry for every whole. I don't know. I'm like upside down and shit. My bad.
You're not
I
even
don't know.
upside down for us, so you're good. Okay,
Okay.
put it sideways again. Sideways?
Good.
Perfect. We see you perfect. We got you.
I'm like having a whole trip here, man. Like the pip was real.
Yo, it just makes it fun. You still
But
with us? All right, cool.
yeah, we good. We good. I even charged that shit, so we good. My bad.
Awesome. So let's go
And
back
then,
to your story, because I mean that was yo. We're gonna keep tangenting. That's what this is. That's the whole show. Is we go back to your story, we tangent. We go back to your story, we tangent. Um,
I love talking with you. It's so fast.
So
Oh,
let's go. So after that first album, you're writing it out. You put it out. I assume. How does that go? Like, what's your life like then? Do you start performing at that point? Tell us a bit about your experiences getting into this world.
oh yeah. So then my first show with CY was super awesome. He was shout outs to him, man. He was doing a lot of shows, like helping a lot of people. So that's really great. Like I feel like even such as yourself, like doing like instrumental things, like it really helps people to like do their stuff. So I did that show, and then that's when I met you, and then I got invited to a
That was your
next
first
show.
show?
Yeah,
Yo, she was nuts on her first show. Like, I'm saying that in a positive. Like, holy shit, I had
bro.
no idea. I thought you were just like grinding it out and doing it.
No, bro, it was my first show. Yo, that's something like yo. I'm coming to eat, man. 2020, like I was supposed to do a show. Oh yeah, we were supposed to do a show. I
We
was supposed to
were.
do a show with you.
But
Remember
that's a
the
little bit later on because you got a whole bunch of stuff that happens then. Okay, so you're still like a
uh,
little bit before that, right? You're
yeah.
starting out.
So then that was my first show, but then I got offered to do another show, and it was all females, and that was a crazy show because I almost left because a lot of times I go to events by myself because like first of all I'm a person like I know a lot of people, but I don't really fuck with a lot of people, and a lot of
Hmm.
people that I fuck with they're like doing different shit. So like I usually go and I know people that are there, so I just jam. But so yeah, I almost left that show. I ended up fucking performing there. It was crazy because it just goes to show, man, if you do anything and you get where you want to be, like that same show, I was Naya Ali was performing at that same fucking show that I was performing, but she left before I performed. But it's fucking crazy though. They're like, look, yo, she's flexing and doing her thing in Toronto.
Yo,
Shout out to her too. Like,
hold up. What
yo,
show is that? The all girls show. Which one
uh,
was that?
I don't know if you know his name. His name is like Rico something. He hosted he Rico Rhino or something like that. He hosted an all female. It was like plenty. It was like maybe 6 or 7 acts of like
Do you
all
remember who
females.
else performed?
No, honestly, like I'm really a fucking awkward person
Fair enough.
because I know a lot of people, but I'm like when I talk to you, I'm kind of like
But yo,
awkward.
there is something that we gotta just expand on, cause like I don't think a lot of people know this, but there's a whole female English and French side of the scene that's working together in this big like
Oh,
pocket, right? Like I don't think a lot of people know about this. See, I went to a couple of all girl shows and I was blown away by my experience. Let me tell you about the first one I went to. It was like last October or August or some shit like that before these days, and there were 10 ladies performing at this. Every one of them was ready to go. I'm talking about, yo, Serenity was at some show I actually went to.
yes.
Oh, that was that one.
I
I was
know.
at that. So I was at the show of Serenity. I think you might have been there even. Either way, so I'm at this show and I looked around the room and I'm not a single guy, but for the sake of the conversation, I was the only single guy in the room. And I looked around and it was just like a sea of women. And I'm like, wait,
You're
what
like,
the
hey.
fuck? No, but it was like this weird epiphany, right? Because I'm normally at the other one. I'm at the show with all the guys where we look around and there's like four girls in the room and they're clinging on to their boyfriends a little bit. Like, come on, don't leave me alone in this place. And it's just like a sausage fest a la Max, right? And I realized, holy shit. So you have all the girls at this one show over there and all the guys are at that show over there. And that was like the weirdest mindfuck because I didn't realize that there were that many like women that were down to like go out to this shit. No, they're just all over there supporting their girls at that show. And I'm like, yo, I don't see a lot of like mixing of the genders personally. But then I saw like, yo, there's like 50,
Yo,
60 of y'all
we
easy.
got fucking packed, man. We packing, yo. Montreal repping, yo. Ruby Red, Flex on her, she's doing good. Lucinda too. There's Naya Ali. Who else is there? Um,
There's Serenity,
uh,
definitely.
there's another girl too, man. There's a lot of females. It's just like I don't know, like even in rap battle too. Like it's funny. I tried my first. I don't know if Basics on you would laugh so hard. Who was there? I did. I tried to do my first battle. I'm too nice for that shit though. Like
Yo, tell us about that. Tell us about your first battle. That would be fire. Yo, Natasha Marie is fire, actually. Let's put that out there. Give her fucking props. Um,
yo, shout out to everybody that's doing rap battle. Like yo, Michelle Trevi and fucking everybody, man.
but what you
But
said you tried to battle. Tell us about that
yeah,
a
I
little
did
bit.
try to battle. And it's funny because the person I was trying to battle was a it based on yours can laugh so hard. It's a guy that was saying his name was Trevi Machete. But yeah, no, I like choked so hard, man, because I was like saying, but one of the lines I was like, it was crazy. One of the lines, it was funny. If I would have got it, like, the only problem is I have a hard time with memory. So like battle, you have to know your lines or your choke, especially. You can't like freestyle that shit. It's so hard.
Right.
So like I got like my lines good, but I was like choking and shit. So like it didn't work out. It was not the best. So it was like nah. But yo, like if I can get my memory straight on battle rap, man, I would kill that shit. Like straight up, I'd come and eat and shit for real. Like, but like it was crazy. The bars I had, like it was funny. It was like I got angels with me, even the devil would and shit. Like it was funny. I was like laughing. I was like, it's crazy when you go back to like old stuff. You're just like, what? And that's also too. I did an open mic at it was Hip Hop Basics. I don't know if you know them. It was like there was like a whole bunch of people. Like Serenity was there too, and like that was actually there was two times that like my first open mic. I don't know if you know this guy named Spestrax.
I do
He's like
not,
a
but I will look
he's
him up
actually
after.
a champion, he's a champion beatboxer. Anyways, like I did my first open mic was at Tam Tams when they used to fucking do DJing and shit on Sundays.
So yeah, people in the crowd watching know who Spectrax is, even though I don't. So you're getting
Yeah,
acknowledgement. All right, you're
shout outs,
speaking to
bro.
people.
Shout outs. He's fucking fire, man. Yeah, like yo, if you need also to beatboxing like lessons, hit him up, man. Like really fucking good. Like his bass is like I don't know, man. He's like on some shit, man. Me if I can like beatbox, which I probably like, I can do some little bit shit, but like
Yeah, so
if
give
I
us
can
a little beatbox right now. Show us what you can do.
not too much, bro. Don't flex on it. I'll be like, like for example, like let me try something. I don't know if it's gonna be good. He
It's
got me
gonna
all
be
like,
fire. I promise.
like I don't know, like some
Yo, I
fucking
didn't even
weird.
know you could make that noise. I was watching you do that, and I'm like, I'm gonna go practice that after. That was fucking cool.
Lately, I got some weird shit. It's like, where like, like some fucking weird shit.
Yeah, that's
I
actually
don't.
pretty cool though, dude. That looks like it's fucking hard to hold. Like, like maybe making the noises is cool, but you was like carrying that shit, right? Like you was vibing to the rhythm and everything. I was watching you do the whole moves and stuff. Like that was fire. That was real cool. I don't even care if they don't like it. I enjoyed the shit out of that. That was fun.
Like, that's fine. Like, go hit up Special Act. It's a real one. I'm not even like try to flex. Like, that's not really something. It's funny because I was like in elementary. I used to always try to like beatbox, and I was my first beatboxing. I was like, mm,
That's where I'm at, yo.
but it's all fun, you know. I think like anything you do, you should just have fun with it, and like if you love it, it's just gonna get so great, and you're
But
just gonna have fun.
what I think is really amazing about you, some knowledge nuggets for the people, is just your willingness to embrace it all, right? I think that like free spirited nature, like to actually just bust the freestyle. You just did it. You just busted it. You thought about it. You're like, yeah, fuck it. Who cares? It'll be good. It'll be bad. Let's roll with it. Oh, it's me. And I love that attitude that you put forth. It's definitely in your energy. Um, so let's say you're performing back then. You're making some music. You're going through that process. At what point does the fitness become like super significant to you? Because I know it's definitely a 2020 thing, but was it like a before 2020 thing?
Me, it's like fitness and music. Honestly, that's the two things that saved my life. So though that's the reason why with everything, if you see every post I do, it's either music, fitness, or I'm trying to tell you to not tell you, like inspire you that you can do the best in yourself. It's those three things. But fitness, like it was a way that like I took out my energy because like I was seeing a lot of different experiences in my life that like I would either think about or visually see that would be hard. So I would express it like working out. And that became my medication. So thank God. Also, it's my career too. But like, yo, at fucking 14, bro, I was doing sets at like fucking 400, bro. Like, catch me on that flex, man. I don't play with my fucking training. It's you seen.
So yeah,
I'd
walk
be
us
like,
through that side of your life then. So let's say you're able to do it all back then. When does it become like when do you become like a coach or something? When do you start actually taking it more of that direction and making it, let's say, a business that you pursue?
well, when I was younger, I used to have like it's dope actually because it's part of like the lose weight challenge. I was like, I'll say at the beginning, it's like my amura, my armor. So my love of my armor, weight lifted, fall off me. My eating disorder, eating too much of and not eating enough of, emotional problems, environmental problems. So that's what I said on my track for the lose weight song. But that's what it was like. Well, I lost where I was going there because I got carried away. And
You were talking about your
my
fitness
my
life.
bird's blown me away and shit for a sec.
I
But
love the fact that you amaze yourself like that. I don't think enough of us
sometimes I'm
amaze
like, where
ourselves.
did I come from?
But like just
Because
that,
I
that's
like
cool.
I throw
Sorry?
myself off. My bad. Um,
It's
go
fun.
back to what
So
were you saying?
so basically I was asking you about when you got like started your fitness business
Oh
side of
yes,
things.
exactly. That's why I went to there because I was like 200 pounds at 17, and that was like having like a competition to be eating to get bigger. And fuck, I keep going. It's because it's part of the story. Say it again. Your question. My bad. I seem
When
like
did
I'm
you
like.
start your fitness business? Like you got into that?
Oh
So
yeah, yeah. Because yeah, sorry. Yeah. So I like because I was bigger, so then I started losing weight by myself. I was in my room and I would be like working out, and then after when I came back, the next year, like people didn't recognize me at all. Like I would go up to them and they'd be like, "Holy shit, Sam!" People actually thought I was taking drugs and shit because I would be in the morning, and no matter where I would go, I would have like sets how I did it. I set myself up. I would be like, okay, I'm gonna eat this many times a day. It was crazy. I like set up for myself, like just wanting to better my life. I set up what I was eating and how much I would work out. So, for example, every day I would be like, okay, 20 sit-ups, 20 leg raises, 20 squats, and every day I would add 10. So since I did that for myself and it was working so well, when I came back and I lost weight, people were asking me how the fuck I lost weight and shit. I was like myself. So then I realized like, yo, I'm gonna be a trainer because like, yo, like as I said, the reason why I kept falling off of the question is because that was a huge part of it. Like me losing weight and then be able to show people, and that's how it started. Me losing weight and then people asking and me being like, yo, like I need to help people because I was emotionally eating. I was like, as I said, not eating because I used to be like, I went through phases of like me being like skinny and like having emotional trauma and anxiety and depression where I wouldn't eat. I would eat like one meal a day, and like even my parents would give me food, I would throw it out because I was like stressed. I couldn't eat, but I was like pretending I was eating and shit. And then I went to a phase when I got bigger. It was like I was emotionally eating my problems. I would sit there every fucking day with like pancakes and fucking onion rings and shit, like every day. And I was like getting fucking bigger. And I would like eat like a loaf of bread in like a fucking morning sitting and shit. You know what I mean?
I
So
totally
then I
get what you
realized,
mean. Yeah,
yeah.
I'm an emotional eater myself. I relate to that heavy. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm a big fan of the chips and potatoes personally. Yo, you don't understand. I can polish off a whole bag of frozen fries at once. Like I mean, I
But
try
that's
not.
not that much though. I could
I'm just
do
saying,
like
like, so, but
five.
I'm saying I can relate. That's just part of it, you know. But
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's a good thing. I'm saying I just
No.
get it. So, like, I actually appreciate you sharing this because, yo, I think I'm realizing a lot of people benefit from hearing us, like you said, talk about the insecurities and that part of it. So, you sharing that with us is a blessing.
And I appreciate that. And as I said, my bad for like getting stuck on that question. It's because
No, it's
that
good.
Lose Weight song, straight up that Lose Weight song, like I wrote that song in like fucking 10, probably 15 minutes, 20 minutes. But because lose weight and shit, that fucking thing, like my verse are reality of my fucking life and shit. As I said, like emotional problems take a huge impact on everything you're doing, music, fitness, whatever. And if you
Yes.
don't check, you're gonna get checked.
So, that's a great context for how you lost weight. And I love the fact that you keep bringing up my track. I'm not going to lie. It's dope that you really, like, because your entry is dope. I can't say who won or anything. That's not right. But we're not there
No, but
yet. But it's
for
still
real,
cool.
that's nothing to do with winning, honestly, or anything. I could care. Me, I never care about money. If it's money that come in, that's blessing. I appreciate everything. But I'm saying, like me, it's an impact, yo. The fact that I can share that is like,
I can
even more.
certainly say there was an impact of people liking your vibe in the chat when I watched that. But
And
like,
everybody was tired, man. Bless up to everybody that
yo, it
danced.
really was. Yo, there was a lot of talent in that. I really think the more I look at these contests and stuff, it really is a testament to a lot of people stepping up and doing a lot of pretty incredible things in relatively short periods of time, which is honestly a cool state of where the music industry's at. Cause yo, some of these cell phone shits be sounding pretty fire enough for me to re-listen to them. Is all I'm trying to say. Um, but let's go back to you. So you got the success. So you became the first client in a sense, right? Because that's kind of what it is. You went ahead and proved the business model with yourself. Which yo, I'm not even gonna lie. It's how I got my current day job. I was a rapper, so they're like, yo, can you do a webinar? And I say, yo, I could totally do a fucking webinar. Which is basically this. This is a webinar for the record. This is a webinar. It's no different. And then so they're like, okay, do that. And I killed that shit. So I got promoted to like out of a call center into like real salary land. And then they were like, we don't know shit all about if you can do your job. So I got mad as fuck. They said I can't do it. I don't know if that sounds familiar to you. I got real
Yeah.
mad and I started behind that suit. I was so mad at my boss at the time. And no disrespect to him. He had no reason to believe me. I had nothing on paper. So I made behind that suit and I started growing it. Now I was working towards new opportunities in my life. So I totally appreciate where you're coming from, where effectively by building the model in my own life, I'm able to replicate the success elsewhere and convince others that it's worth using my time and knowledge. So in a sense, I think that's how your shit, if I understood where you were going with it, that's kind of in a similar way where your shit's at, where you're able to
Exactly.
like, so you've got this point, you've proven the product works. Tell us a bit about your journey and when does it really start in terms of growing your fitness business?
So then, as I said, well, I didn't say it yet. I'm not like, well, it's gonna be full blown soon, man. Wait till I fucking top off and shit. But like my first client, I was like, um, I was doing aqua fitness in the pool. I was teaching her in the pool. So I started teaching just her like once a week. And then I started really developing my style, which is I train in hybrid training. So it's from strength and conditioning, cardio, high intensity training, agility, coordination, balance, and stuff like that. And I really started developing my niche, what I do. And then I got a job
Yo, hold up.
in.
Sorry. Shout out LoCelso786 for following on Twitch. Anyway,
That's
sorry.
what's up. What it is. No, a shout out to everybody, man. We wouldn't be able to do this without anybody here. So, shout out everybody out here. Shout out to you holding it down, man. You know what it is. But yeah, no. So I was. It's crazy. Like you look how life changes, and you're able to do anything. Like I was actually working at KFC when I was a personal trainer, and I was so fucking pissed off because, like, yo, I'm in back in the cashier, bro, and I'm all flexed up, my arms looking all nice and shit. Like, oh, you look in shape, and I'm working at KFC. I'm all pissed off because at the time I had my hair shaved, both my sides were off, which was fucking dope. I might do it again at some point when it is, but I had like both style sides designs, and people would be very judgmental and be like, "Yo, this girl's like fucking hood and shit." So they didn't want to give me a job in the gym for the longest time because they didn't trust, even though I was like ripped as like not ripped compared to now. I'm not ripped, but like more shape than before. So then I finally got an opportunity at the job that I work out now. It's kickboxing mixed with high intensity training. Um, so the awesome trainer there, you should check her out too. Her name's Jenny. Um, she gave me she gave me a chance, and I was so happy because it takes that one person to be like yo, you can do it as much as you know you can do it, you know. And then after it's like such a life changing from there, like, cause you know you can do it, but it's people that like sometimes they don't believe in you and it's where you want to be going, you know. And sometimes the one person that makes that like open door means everything. So anyways, I started working there, and then a lot of people that seen me there were like, yo, this girl's good, and just word of mouth, and then I started training people, and right now I'm doing online with some people. Right now I'm a little bit slower on my work because
So you started
um,
this all before COVID, and so you were already involved in the training before that.
yes, that's correct. I've been a trainer for 3 years now.
Okay.
Um, I've been mostly on my business, starting of COVID, which is I'm like incredibly so amazed. I'm so grateful for all the support I've been getting. For the longest time, like I was like, oh, like I wanted to make a Facebook page. Everybody was saying like, yo, you do like mad crazy workouts. So you should make a page. And I
Mm.
was not making this. I was like, yo, what are people gonna think? But like, I'm always the type. I want to be transparent. I want to show you before and when I'm fucking famous, you'll see like now, you know what I mean? Be like, oh my god, you know. So, but me, it's not about famous, it's about always impact. But like, yeah, so it was word of mouth, and then like I started going into like my designing back to what I was doing when I was younger. But now it's like a little bit different. I want to like make clothing that represents a
Well, hold on.
visual art.
Well, I want to get to your clothing because that sounds like the future. You did a lot of innovative marketing. I think you're underselling some of the cool shit that you did. Okay, because I say this because I literally watched you do this.
Let me
So,
fucking hear this. Sorry, bro. I'm like tripping out. Hear this. Let's
well,
go.
So let's talk a little bit about this COVID life and what. So there's this is gonna maybe sound callous to some people, and I want to just preface it with no disrespect to anyone. I empathize heavily with all the people who have lost jobs. I understand that there's a large number of people with complicated circumstances. That doesn't change the fact that for a lot of people are divided into two camps in terms of like the creatives and the people who have opportunities in their face. There are the winners of COVID and there are going to be the losers of COVID. And my main definition is this has been a big time of change and reset, and there's a lot of new happening in the world. And like to me, I feel like it forced me to go on Twitch. It forced me out of my comfort zone in a lot of ways. So because of that, I'm able to leverage this time to take advantage of the tides of today. Simultaneously, you have Willie Scandals, who I don't know if he's still with us, but he started Kicking It Live, which is a show that just kind of showcases local music. There's a lot of people who made moves, is I guess what I'm trying to convey. Now you are sitting there, and the next thing you know, I see you're fucking going live at scheduled times with these free workout courses that you're handing to everyone. Now that's actually a good marketing move. It's effectively like you understand that the product that you're selling is customization on a plan, and the effective way to push that model was to give a sample of it by just creating a community around you. So yo, you did a lot of really smart things with this shit. Like we're talking about the kind of stuff where like your social media game is A plus and on point, and I think you're highly underselling it. So tell us a bit about how you decided to grow this online community and why you went down this path.
Yo, bro, you got me flexed, man. Yo, you flexed on me hard with amazement that I didn't think I was like impacted as much. Like honestly, like you never really see how much you're impacting people because people just look or they don't say anything and they're quiet or whatever. But first of all, it means so much that you said that. Um, I honestly, I was like, yo, people, like, we need to, like, stay up and we need to stay positive because at the beginning of COVID, like, I got really depressed and stuff because, like, well, first of all, like, excuse me, I have a lot of, like, seasonal depression and sometimes I can have really, well, like, everybody has depression, but sometimes it's, like, really hard. And I live alone. I don't have, like, animals and shit. So, like, at the time, like, I was seeing older women, whatever, and I was like not be able to see, and like I was just it was a way for me to like just focus like on what I'm doing, um, and just develop myself and just like create what I wanted to create through this time of like now. So I'm looking at this way. I'm like registering my mind state. But like yeah, so just really taking this time, like yo, now's the time. You say you wanted to switch your life, and if you had time, you would do something like yo, let's switch our mind state. Like we're not lacking things, you know.
So why did you start using live?
Why did I start using live? Because my Facebook page. I was like, I need to like start showing what I'm doing. You know, how are people gonna see what I'm doing? You know what I mean? Like people see results on me, you know. And the thing with clients when you're working with training clients depends. Not everybody wants to be like taking pictures of like before and after. Like your weight always changes. You know what I mean? Like, and so that was like okay, but that's so crazy. I'm so shook right now. That
So
you
let me
said
ask
like
you a
my
question
marketing
though,
game was like, oh,
because
I'm
I have a theory, right? I have a theory that if I were to go on Twitch and in a sense write my album publicly in the current era, it would ultimately perform better when it dropped than if I were to not do that. And the reason I say that is very similar to what you just described. People get a sense of what you are and who you are. Not everyone's going to watch the whole album. They're going to get a snippet along the way. Absolutely. Because it's guaranteed not everyone watched every one of your lives. But you went live like fucking how many times a day?
yo, that was like sometimes every day, bro. Like, and like, yo, me, I train a lot though. That's the thing. Right now it's balance and more stillness because, yo, at the beginning of COVID, I was like fucking going wild because, like, as I said, like
But you were
working out.
like planning, you were using Facebook events, right? You were like
Yeah,
doing a whole bunch of shit. You got
dude,
to understand,
and
this stuff might
live.
seem like really basic to you, but there's
To me, I was like, whatever. I
a
was
lot
like,
of
whatever.
people like I know it because again sometimes it sounds super basic, But a lot of people don't actually think this kind of stuff through like that. To them, it might be harder to like just jump on, right? So in your mind,
Oh,
you're like, I logged into Facebook. Oh, events. Fuck it. Let's
uh,
make events. Let's go. That sounds like what it's like for like, listening to you go through it. But like actually tracing these steps is almost like a tutorial on how you actually did it. So it's really helpful to the people because, yo, what you said is at the end of the day, you did all this shit and you have clients. All right? That's actually
that's
big, no?
yeah. I can, and it's so crazy because you don't say. I never like. I'm just like I do something like okay, next thing, improve. But it's amazing that you said that because right now I'm taking marketing for social media.
Where are you taking that?
So you're telling me that I have good social media marketing, and it was from the beginning of COVID. Like now, I'm taking social media marketing to actually like because especially my music, like I have a lot of great lyrically music. If you listen to it and you actually take time, it's not like the bumping type, but like my promotion, if I'm able to market it better, it'd be like so amazing. But I think it's same as you were saying, like going lives. Like if I just do like random freestyles and drop it, then it's like yo, you're gonna
You
see
do that
like
a lot, though, right?
sorry.
You do a lot of random freestyles right now.
Yeah, I do. I love freestyle. It's my favorite. That's actually how I started MCing and
All
stuff.
right,
Like,
let me ask you a question. We got a
what's
bunch of people here. You down to bust a little freestyle right now?
yeah, you know what it
You
is.
go as long as you fucking want. Pretend you're on the
Bro,
biggest radio.
you ready?
I'm
I
always
have to.
ready.
All right. I got time on my mind for the divine sense that's God and from the wisdom from above that's gifted inside. It ain't nothing lyrically from me, it's from the guidance. I could switch the aura from here or there. I'm left or right, I'm everything. I'm hot and cold, that bold bitch. I switch it up like you didn't know. I take it off, didn't think I could. I'm flick of light, yeah, on and off. And it's like hot and cold worlds be switching. I'm a temperament, yeah, all over spitting like I represent myself. I'm my own representing. I flex like I didn't, but I'm like a championship. I used to go to place and I'd stutter now. I got this like I hold it down. I work so hard for what I become. This is knowledge, wisdom, and lyrical spitting. Let's go.
Yo, you got some love in the comments there. So you know what's really interesting is we got a dude in the chat right now who runs a Twitch channel named Lemef, who you should absolutely show some love to. He's fucking fire. He inspired the shit out of me. So the reason we're even having this conversation on Twitch and getting this fan love is because I watched Lemef's channel for a little bit and he blew my fucking mind. So this is what he does. He's got Minecraft, or sometimes he's bumping beats, or sometimes he's just chilling. But at the end of the day, a central theme to what he does is he freestyles. And
I love
people actually give the guy actual dollars and he
this.
freestyles. And he kind
Really
of
on here?
on Twitch. This is a real thing
Oh,
that
bro,
can
I gotta
happen.
get this
So
shit.
we're gonna talk about that after. We'll get you set up. You can then follow Lemef. You can see what he's doing. Y'all can like link up and chit chat and shit. But I'm just
Oh
saying, like,
yeah.
because it's in the same vein and the same spirit as what you're describing. I see you doing it on Facebook Live. You know, you can. I'm just saying, Twitch is
Thanks for
dope.
the little flex, man. That was fun. I love freestyle. It's my favorite thing, honestly.
Yo,
Like I go
anytime
on.
you want to.
Oh, it's so fun. I had a great time. I
So
appreciate that.
So basically, at this point, though, you've got a fitness business that you're running, which you basically have tapped into your entrepreneurial spirit of like yesteryear and kind of pushed it along to a point where, you know, you're able to, hustle and get your thing on. You figured out by accident how social media marketing works with it. Well, by the way, where are you taking this course? Just so people know which course you're taking.
It's actually if you want to do any learning, thank God or whatever the fuck you got, but it's called Allison. So you can take any courses you want on there. I took some of my fitness courses on there too, and there's everything. There's one I'm gonna also take. There's a lot of stuff I want to take, but I'm trying to like slow it down myself because there's different times I feel for everything as we were talking before. Sometimes it's like for me, like I do a lot of talking, like giving you wisdom, or I do fitness, or I do music. Right now is the time for me to be expressing and communicating. So really looking at communication skills and how I can uh, relate with people, you know? Because we're not that much different.
I feel you. I'm not, I understand relating to people's challenging. I got a bunch of older homies who are giving me shit or slash coaching me on a regular about my certain blunders along the way. Sometimes you get a little message like, dude, you sound like this. You know that, right? And I'm like, I do sound like this. Okay, delete. But in general, I think what's really cool about what you said is a big time knowledge nugget. Actually, a knowledge nugget I share with you, and that's the power of online learning. So part of my flex at work was I took a vacation, and at the
You're
time
the
there was.
biggest example. Sorry to cut you off. You really are.
Sorry.
You're the biggest example. You really like are inspiring for books and knowledge. Like if
That's
I
fair.
were to watch, yeah, go on.
I do read a lot. I'm 2 books away from 60, but I started reading fiction and that fucked me up because it's fun and it was easy when it was nonfiction because it was all learning. So it was like productive time, go work, motherfucker. Now it's like Witcher stories, and I'm like, this is dope, but it doesn't feel like work, so I'm having trouble with that. But still, where I was going with that is I took off a week of work and I spent like 40 hours on lynda.com, which is online education, and I banged out like everything. SEO, boom, 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 boom. Walked back
Amazing.
in, and because dude, at the time the shit shows up on your LinkedIn, right? So everybody saw him basically banging out thing after thing after thing after thing. But since then I realized, I did Google Analytics Academy. There's Hootsuite Academy. There's half the YouTubers in the world will get you a fucking dollar 2 month Skillshare thingy, which you can probably run through each of your credit cards type thing. Anyway, all of this is like knowledge out there. Coursera
I
is
love
free. Coursera is dope. You don't have to pay for the knowledge. You just pay for credits. And who the fuck cares about certification? You just get it for the knowledge anyway. But what's important is she pivots to the biggest need, right? Like, let's say communication skills. You recognize this is the area I need the most work in. And so she recognized there's a resource out there that, listen, I don't care who you are. You can literally go find free education on the internet on every subject. It is what it is. Some quality levels require some paid, depending on what you want. Let's be real. But at least for the beginner shit, you can get the beginner shit of everything online. And the fact is, not only did you do it, but you prioritize things by what is most important to you in this moment in your life for improvement and growth. Those are big time knowledge nuggets.
I appreciate it. 2 seconds. I don't want to like cut you off and stuff, but I just want to like also the most to make it clear. The stuff that I took knowledge on is to get leads. So what attracts people for communication? How I learned that was myself internally sitting with myself because I realized that like I'm very straight to the point, but I can be like, how I'm nice, I can sound like really fucking rude too if I want to. You know what I mean?
I
Not even
feel
if
you.
I want to, but like I used to be like telling you what it is, but I'm like, rah, you know what I mean? And it's like sometimes it cannot be like down your fucking throat when you're like, you know,
Some people definitely. So
not
yeah,
really the best analogy, but yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
a word was used with me. Diplomacy was a word that gets used, or politics is often used. Like, you got to be a little. I know you don't like office politics, Holden, but sometimes if you ask differently, you'll get better results from people. You can get them to do what you want. You just have to ask differently. And I'm like, okay, fine. So I totally get
Well,
what you're saying.
yeah, it sounds differently. I really realized that too for myself. It's like I sound like it, because when you talk, you either can sound like you're demanding something, or you can sound like
Mm,
you want to communicate with something together.
right.
You know what I mean? And when you sound like you're demanding your communication, it's not really attractive. That's what I realized. All these things are me internalizing myself because if you sit with yourself, you realize like do I like sometimes I've looked at lives, like sometimes I post stuff and I erase it. It's not that I don't want you to see it. It's because I sounded to myself like really harsh. Like I sound like, here's what it is, and it's like, okay,
Yeah.
like I understand here's what it is, but like people got what they think it is too, you know? So be open minded a little bit,
Yeah, I
you know.
struggle with that all the time, especially with album reviews and shit, right? Because you're going out there and you're talking to fans. It's always fans. It's the only people who does album reviews. So in every so like, who else is listening? Nobody wants to click on some shit that's an hour long about an album unless you love that shit. So I had to learn along the way that I can have an opinion, but there's a difference between saying "fuck this," it's awful, and "this is not for my tastes." People seem to really gravitate and appreciate that this is not for my taste approach. And anytime I indulge my negativity and get a little petulant, it might make for a more riveting piece of content here and there, but at the end of the day, it doesn't necessarily like work to gain me anything. I don't gain off of that. It's like a bad energy. So
Yeah,
like I totally get what you're saying, because I try
that's
hard to keep the energy in a positive. This whole interview vibe. This is the safest positive. Like it's the easiest thing in the world to stay positive in, and it's actually the favoriteest kind of content I've ever had to create in my entire fucking life. I'm not even gonna lie.
it's so fun. I'm really enjoying this time. It's absolutely beautiful. You know, I feel like, with, and this is people, they don't realize. That's why I say it's very important. You know, every time we talk, we're spelling. Every time we write, you're spelling. You're casting out spells. So the out, when you talk,
Oh,
right. Yeah,
okay.
so like, when you say things, like watch what you say, watch what you talk is what it is. So for example, like me saying, for example, oh like I can be like, yo, really fucking this is how I'd be like before. I'd be like, yo, you really fucking piss me off when you do that shit, man. Like what the fuck are you doing? Like I would talk like that. It's different talk like that. And it'd be like, it really it affects me when you talk like that. I feel like you could talk to me better. You see how?
Yeah.
You see, like, minus all the swearing, but like, you see what I mean? Like, your words have a high level of frequency or a low. Anytime you say, like, not or don't or, I always try to be like constructive out of things. And that's how, like, a lot of people say, like, oh, you're so positive because I use, like, okay, we have this COVID time, right? Okay, COVID, but you're on quarantine, you should be with yourself. So isolate and see which can work in yourself. You know what I mean? Construct.
I feel like it's true. Like even if like I live with my girlfriend, it's not that different. It's effectively, honestly, we've never spent this much time together. And I think for a lot of couples, it's going to be a litmus test, I guess. But I like her more than when COVID started, so that's a very big positive in my life. But
You know?
but
Yeah.
part of it was that same thing. Like we actually had to like internalize a little bit. Like, this might be our life now. Okay,
You,
like you got to figure shit out.
it's crazy because I feel like for me, it's like, but you know what the thing is, for me personally, how I see it, nothing really changed besides what people are saying and what people think. That's the only thing that
Mm.
changed. And
We are
doing.
definitely. I think people are absolutely okay. Like I'm starting to suck with people again a little bit, right? So I'm having this problem. Everything's the internet, and it's like sometimes it fucks with your mind a little bit. Cause I mean, I try hard to be positive and shit, but like your DMs is blowing up. The this is and that. There's a million attitudes and opinions, but I'm realizing it's cause we in Montreal. For anyone that's watching is not in Montreal or sees this after, we've been like in. It's illegal to go to people's houses for like 3 months with no end in sight. January 11th is a maybe. It's not a real. It's a
And
maybe.
then you have me posting bullshit.
And so like you're sitting there and it's like, I don't actually cuz I got to pay attention to people. I got to like read body languages. I haven't been in a room with four people at once. I actually saw my boy and the next guy at the same time a month or two ago. It was so hard. I didn't even know how to talk to two people at once anymore. I don't even remember how to do it right. Like it's going to be so fucking weird when we actually have to go deal with real life again cuz these times are fucking weird.
No, I'll tell you something right now, and this is why like a lot of people question like what I post and stuff, and why I'm like so like whatever I feel about the whole COVID thing. I don't think people realize that like it's systematic correction. You know what I mean? They did it with rats before, where they show two rats in different cages, and if you're separated alone, you're quicker to die. And it's all I feel, and all love and all respect and healing to everybody that's going through things. But this is conditioning, systematic conditioning. It's like for myself personally, it's like, okay, so we went through our race thing, and we went through whatever we're gonna go through, and we're getting more conscious, we're getting more what's good for us. So let's just shut our mouth and put something. You cover your mouth. Look, I can come and rob your place like this. You don't know anybody like this. So how we cannot even communicate. We cannot even connect anymore. You took away one of our senses of our viewing, so I don't trust you. You see, our communications now fall off because we fall apart from each other. So look, separate we fall, together we conquer. You see, and look what happens. You create a separated, systematic view of wearing masks and not wearing masks, which creates you separated. Where it's like, okay, everybody's gonna do what best suits them for their health, no matter what anybody says, and all respect do what you need to do. But you see how it's a conditioning to when you go out now, you're gonna not know communication skills. You
Yeah.
see, and
So
they
yo,
already fucking planned that shit. You see,
so
TikTok
like,
times ticking, yo. You see,
so
times ticking.
like, I
It's
think that
connected, not
like
disconnected.
there's definitely a lot of interesting in what you just said, right? Because the truth is look, I'm not like I don't want to go too deep into whether or not the science of masks and shit because that shit needs to be fact checked or else it's just what it is. But what you also did bring up is a big facts about the results, okay? Because you're not necessarily talking about the causes and whatever. Whether or not there's a government conspiracy is a separate thing, but the results you're bringing forth are an actual thing that is happening. There is this divisive element. There is this separation. Yo, I don't even see the mask people on my Facebook anymore. The anti-mask people don't show up on my Facebook anymore because
We
I wear masks.
don't even talk on the phone anymore because nobody knows how to talk to each other because it's instant gratification. Know that after this time, we're not even want to be. A lot of people are not gonna want to talk to each other because it's too long. There's too much feelings involved. We get instant gratification. So
Ooh.
that's why me when I go fucking flexing out my shit, it's not that I believe in this or believe in that. I believe in seeing what is actually around us. Yo, you care like, and I'm not trying to bring this up because it's not like
No,
it's
we're
fucking.
good. You're good. You're
But it's
good.
like, like we care about. I find the biggest trip to me is like everybody cares about their health, but they didn't care about shit until somebody fucking told them that didn't even give a shit. The person that told them didn't even give a shit. They're fucking contaminating your food. They're doing all this shit to tell you to give a shit.
Yo,
You know what
talk
I mean?
about the
So,
food thing. You know a lot about food science, right? So this is a subject you probably know at a very deep level. Tell us about food. Tell us
okay, so
about like some of the history of food in terms of what you're describing, where the government wasn't honest about food.
well, like look at our food. Like some foods are like seedless, and it's like fucking the seed food
So
and
let's
shit.
okay. So Sammy, let me just add a context. Let's pretend that most people know like next to nothing on the subject, and you're like the teacher that actually knows the stuff. So like, what is your definition of good food, bad food, all of this kind of stuff?
Okay. Oh wow, this is gonna be fun. Okay, so you need your nutrient. Okay, so you need your carbs, you need your vitamins, you need your proteins, you need your minerals, and you need water. And if your food is saying a whole bunch of fucking shit you don't know what it is, I don't think it's natural. That's just first of all. You want to have foods that have proteins in it to build your muscles. You want to have your building blocks so that you can build your muscles.
What's a
Um,
building block?
your amino acids, so you have 21 of them. Um, 13 are essential, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, but no, it's really like out of the terms of a view of what's good or not, we really use what we feel is going to be good or not. I can talk what's good or not, blue, white in my face. Really, if you look at what's a earth food, what's not earth food, that's what I look on in terms of what's good. You see,
So it's
I
an earth
might
food to you.
earth
There's
food, rice, beans, nuts, fruits, vegetables. That's food that's gonna give you life and energy, and that's food that you want when you're eating bad food. You're eating like fucking, for example, like. And I'm not saying that like a lot of people eat meat. I eat meat too, but like I eat seafood. But like for example, meat is contaminated now. I'm not saying that like don't eat meat or anything. But like that it has hormones in there and like foods that build mucus in your body. Like for example, cheese. I eat cheese too, even though it's like we do stuff that's bad. I'm not saying like you choose. We choose what's best
No,
for
but
us.
okay, look, just to be clear, you don't have to justify it. Listen, we all eat bad food. We all know what it is. But the
Yeah.
fact is, you're explaining, like, because you know this shit, you're explaining what is good and what is bad food. Unfortunately, I call food drugs. So, like,
Yeah.
sugar to me is like cocaine, you know? It's very similar to Coke. It's bad. It's addictive. It gives you that up and down rush. So you look at other kinds of food. Like you eat a lot of potatoes, you end up feeling bloated. You don't want to move. You eat a lot of fucking veggies, and
Look,
you kind of feel like you want to jump.
that's exactly. So, for example, I'm happy that you brought
Yo,
that up.
and
Like,
as
yeah,
Lemef says, there's a documentary about it. Willie Scandals is feeling you. Just so you know, they're invested.
Hey, I appreciate that, man. Like, and I don't want to be see me like, okay, I know, like, okay, I'm personal training. I just finished getting my nutrition. But there's a lot of stuff in nutrition, so I'm not gonna like act like, okay, I know like every single fucking thing. Nobody knows every single thing. I'm
No,
not
but you
gonna
know
even
more
try
than us
like
though.
but for example, and yeah, I want to always clarify that because I'm not like a fucking genie in the bottle that has answers for everybody, you know. But like I give answers that I feel that have worked for me, you know, and that I know that are great. So, for example, a bad food, not it's not bad, but good value and less value. So, for example, you said you ate potatoes, you feel bloated. If you have sweet potatoes, you have magnesium, you have iron, you have vitamin B, like different vitamins, and there's building blocks in there. You see, potatoes, there's not really you can meat, it's starch, it's
Right.
glucose. You see, so it's food that your body can work on, right? We have to think of start eating for longevity, for our gut, for our bladder, our brain, our liver, you know what I mean? And high fiber foods, so like broccoli, um, what's called oatmeal, um, a bunch of stuff like that. There's so many great foods, and we're lucky because we have internet to tell us a whole bunch of different stuff. But as I said, um, I feel like when we look at what's bad or good, your body is going to tell you what's good or bad. You can feel what's good or bad. And
Mm.
if I look logically at what would be good for me to eat, something that grows from the earth. That I am the earth and everything from the earth, so I should be eating that. And when we talk about uh, food that's genetically modified, there's nothing that your body can do with that besides create disease and mucus. And that's why where we go back to like, and I'm talking like, oh, they don't care about our health and they contaminate food, is because a lot of foods, you look at the food, you don't even know what the fuck the word full phosphate try, what the fuck is that
So
shit?
yeah, there's even more to like that kind of stuff, right? Now I can't say this is hard facts, so I have to throw up the allegedly because I don't know 1,000%. But the way I understand it to be is that the dairy industry has big money behind it, right? So they actually lobbied heavy with the cereal industry to create cereal as a breakfast food. Cause you look at like regular breakfast cereal. Honestly, it's milk and sugar with like there's nothing really even like so what happened is I found out life cereal, which I thought was the good one, and I felt so cool because I was eating life cereal. I found out it was pretty bad for me, and that fucked me up, right? And then I learned a bit about that, but apparently like to the level of big business literally influenced the Canadian food guide and the American food guide to put like the fucking milk up and that shit as a high focus because the cheese industry's popping. So there's actually like drug money
Bro,
level money in food. Did you hear
yeah.
about the maple syrup heist in Quebec? That like money thing on Netflix where they talk about that and like the shit that maple syrup has a higher like per gram value than Coke or something like that. There's big money in food like this.
Because the food's addictive, man. For example, it's and your body gets used to it. For example, like sometimes I go on a fucking binge of like eating chocolate and it's bad because like yo, you're sweet. It does your body does not register, so it creates like mucus, and mucus is what makes you sick. So when you eat stuff that is acidic, that's like processed food, it makes mucus in your body, so you have higher chances of getting sick. But for example, cheese and milk, it's mucus products because cheese is mucus. It has pus in your. It has pus in it. It sounds gross because I eat cheese
No,
too,
but
but like,
again we talking facts and science and shit. It is gross, but it is what it is.
I know, and that's the thing. We can. I'm happy because one day we'll realize, like, okay, like we can find alternatives. You know what I mean? We
And
have such.
just to like touch on something because Lemef is talking about the fact that you have stuff like sugar shacks and why it's interesting is because it ties into the big business element. And it's also like Christmas even. So like you have these moments in time that are just giant fucking gluttonous feasts, right? Like think about what a sugar shack actually is at the end of the day. It's like a big old once a year feast. The business model relies around everybody showing up and everybody eating a large amount of food. So then you have that one feast goes away and it no longer is sustainable. But it's interesting because I think about stuff like I remember this moment. I was about 6 years ago. I actually was the only time in my adult life I was a little bit smaller than I am now, and I remember going to Christmas. And like I was like, yo, I can't eat this shit. I'm trying to eat healthy, and I was just like peer pressured, so heavy into stuff in my face. Like I was shamed into eating. And in hindsight, like it was weird, right? Like it's kind of weird that you're like even in moments where you're like, yo, I'm trying to eat like healthy. I don't want to eat that, and then you get like almost forced into it. You know, like that's also part of the culture. You go to certain places and it's like, yo, you have to eat everything because it's rude not to. You know, like it's weird, no?
It sucks, eh? When you go, if you go to a house like me, like, but we haven't seen each, like, I haven't seen people in a while because it's bullshit. But like, I'm half Greek, so it's like my that's half Greek, bro. It's like, yo, we have a whole fucking feast, long table and everything. You know what I mean? So I know what you mean. But like, for example, if you're ever starting to go on a journey that you're starting to eat better, like, no, at the end of the day, like, it's gonna come automatic, like for example, it's kind of sounds really fucking weird and shit, but like I don't have like things that are sweet in my place besides like healthy food,
Mm,
you know? And it's not, I didn't try to do it that way. It's just your body becomes accustomed when you keep on doing, right? So
big
if you
facts.
eat, if you, yeah, yo, bro, fucking facts on that facts, bro. If you keep on, if we eat bad all the time, like your body's gonna be like, it's okay. There's no difference, you
So
see,
like
because to it.
every
But if you like, for example, as I said, going from me having eating disorders, not eating too much of, then eating too much of, you know where those lines are from. But when I was like eating fucking pancakes every day and onion rings every day, I didn't see a difference. I was like, whatever. But then after like I started eating great foods for my body, like kale, avocados, tomatoes, and such great foods. And it's like my body already came accustomed to it. You know what I mean? So it didn't be like, okay, I have to eat well. It's like I already do. You know what I mean?
yeah, I
Because
totally
the
relate to
energy
that.
course.
Yeah, it's exactly what it's like. Like, I mean, I find I have moments like lately where it's been mad stressful, so I fucking give in and I eat. And I think it's important to share that because I don't care who you are. You got moments where you're not perfect and it's like a battle and it's like on back and forth. But like, I noticed the physiological impact it has on me, which is crazy. Because, yo, as you start getting healthier and shit, if you're, yo, for me, the big one actually has been soda to water ratio. So I've been drinking not enough water in the last little bit, and I've been drinking too much soda, and it caught my attention recently. And I'm like, yo, I haven't been drinking enough water, but you feel it like in how you every day, how you think, like every little moment of your being. And so like when I'm trying to maintain a pace and I'm not like being my healthiest, I fucking get bad and I make mistakes. Versus when I'm at my healthiest, I'm on point.
You know, ask yourself this question. One of this question that I asked myself where I was these, why, ask yourself why you're emotionally eating. And, you know, you have a lot of more answers than you think. You know, a lot
Mm.
of, me, I'm a person, I spend at least like 2 hours, sometimes 2.5 hours meditation during my day and shit. So it's like, if you ask yourself a question,
Wait,
why
hold up.
things are
Did you just say you meditate 2 hours a day?
usually,
When did you start meditating? Tell us about that. Why should people meditate?
because you can figure out, and people are so like taboo and they're like, clear your mind, don't think anything. It's like, nah, you actually have to see your mind so you see everything. That's what it is, not clear your mind. Anyways,
No, what do you mean
when
by
I,
that? That's really interesting.
yeah,
Like,
because look, when you meditate, all these thoughts pop up. You close your eyes. Anytime you close your eyes, you center your body. So I could close my eyes, my imagination and my subconscious and my conscious pop up, and then you're seeing and you're thinking. So then after you have your questions of your subconscious asked to your conscious, and then you can ask your conscious to your subconscious why, and then ask and answer your questions.
yo, big
Uh,
facts. So I wake up
yeah,
in the morning and I walk around. I try to do about, I want to get my calories burn count on my Fitbit to about 1,000 before I start my day because that, I don't know, I just do it and it works and it makes my life
I'll give
happier.
you some. Do
So
25 jumping jacks, do 25 push-ups,
I
25
got,
burpees.
yo, I'm not going to do that to my neighbors. They already hate me. But I'll do that at a different time of the day, all right? Because we're talking like 6, 7 in the morning. They already got to deal with me walking around. It's
Oh,
too early for burpees. Um,
you
but
don't even You don't even have to fucking jump. You step it out, bro.
Listen, later in the day, I have these neighbors that don't want to get in trouble. I already have an elliptical, and they have to deal with that when I elliptical, right? So like that's already going on in my apartment. I got to be a little like careful about 6:30 in the morning. But the thing is, what I like about it is that it puts my brain into this state where like these thoughts start flowing, and I almost argue with myself a little bit. I don't know if Bonnie ever hears it. She probably does. And it's like fucking like I get to like almost get into this meditative state. It's bad for my reading when I go down that path because I try to read, but like sometimes your brain's got to work through shit because like there's a lot going on. And like I find just walking in this circle puts me into this like, because I have like a loop in my apartment, and I just go with that, and it just puts my brain into this state where it's like what you're describing, the questions and the answers, and the more I let my brain flow with it, it's almost like this weird meditative thing I accidentally stumbled into because I was trying to read in the morning and get steps. But like I really appreciate what you're describing because I think it has it helps me get rid of certain anxieties on specific issues. And when I realize that, this is stupid, is usually what ends up happening at the end of the day, and I can like let go of it in like a more calm way. I don't know if that makes sense.
Oh, yeah, I understand totally. Well, a lot of our mind is like preoccupation and fucking bullshit. And it's not even your thoughts. It's not even your thoughts most of the time. It's usually like conditioning or like, this one thing I give a key to everybody, fucking huge nugget. It's like anytime in your life you go through circumstances, always be the same thing. Always the same answer. It's always the same problem. Is to see if you figure it out. See if you got that level up. It's true.
No, I like how you said that. Level up is key.
Oh, you know what it is? Level up that shit. Is it gonna dominate you? You're gonna dominate that shit. You coming to eat or it's coming to eat you? You know what I mean?
So a little bit earlier you were talking about clothing. I want to make sure we touch on that before we forget because it's absolutely important. It's like you were really excited before. So tell us about your fashion designs and all that. Like, what are you doing there? Tell us about that world.
So right now, I have small pieces that I'm working on. They're one pieces for myself right now, but soon I'm working on a website to get a bunch of stuff working, fitness, just talking guidance to people, clothing, um, subscriptions, etc. The clothing, I want to have clothing that's visual art of life. I don't know how to explain it.
Okay. Are you still with it?
Pictures that are on the shirt are pieces of the nature. I have a top that's it sucks because I thought it was supposed to come in today. I would have fucking flexed it, but yeah, like it's coming in. It has like it's a picture of outside, and it's like just I mixed the art of outside of like the beauty of nature into clothing. I have I have a fucking a boot I'm working on right now. That's fucking wild, man. A boot, bro. But like I'm gonna see. I'm gonna wear it. I'm gonna see what it is. Like all my stuff is trial, one piece for myself, see how people like it, if they would fuck with it, and then after drop it. But I think it's be super cool. I want to get some jewelry out too. Like the whole idea for myself is just to have my whole drip, my flex. Give me a second. I'm gonna see if I'll grab one of my sweaters. Start getting
fresh. So what's really crazy about what you're saying is this Montreal's finest hat I wear. So I know the lady who runs it, and it's Montreal's finest 1985 on Instagram if you want to cop some shit at Montreal's finest 1985. This shit's fire. They're dope. That's all I'm trying to say. But her story is very remarkably similar to what you're describing in terms of your marketing principles. So she designs this logo, and she starts making stickers, and she starts slapping stickers on people's shit, and then people started seeing it, and then people liked it because it's a fucking cat and it says Montreal because it's fucking a smash. It is a great logo. And then she started making clothes, and then she started selling clothes, and she just kind of tried it out, and it worked, and so she escalated it in the same way that you're doing your thing. So you designed that?
Yeah, that's exactly. So my label is GTFSC.
You made that?
Yeah.
Holy shit, that's gorgeous.
Yeah,
holy crap.
That shit, boy. Look at this shit. Hold on. It's on that drip though, bro. I can't really see it. Sorry,
Nah, I mean they can see it close enough to see what you mean about the lightning. Like you can see like the nature-esque feel, but it also looks fly. It just looks very fly.
I
Yeah.
appreciate it, bro. Yeah. So like I got like fucking drip coming out. It's gonna be fucking
Yeah.
fire. This one is a limited one. Like I'm not gonna make another one of this one because
Oh,
it's like I have to run this sweater for like fucking 55, $60 and shit. Because like getting stuff done is expensive now. It's not cheap. You know what I mean? Like I've been thinking when I'm thinking it depends on how many people would need it. I'm thinking of even like starting a printing fucking thing and like printing my shit and like people that need little quantities. Like I start printing for people around here, but it depends how much I just need because like as I said, my whole idea is for me to rock my own stuff, but like if I could get bulk sweaters and bulk t-shirts for a cheaper price that are still this quality and be able to print them myself, then I'd be able to make more profit and stuff. But it's expensive. Like, it
so
costs
I
like
just I just promise you that I posted on Facebook. I swear, just by sheer coincidence, because I just got this new fucking logo done, and I looked at it and I said I want to wear that on a sweater. Because I'm wearing my Rhyme Sayer sweater, and I want to wear that on a sweater instead. I think it's cool. I don't give a fuck.
it's the
Um,
sick
but what
sweaters,
up?
man. Stop that.
So what ended up happening though, and what really like I made a post just yesterday about sweaters, and the amount of people that answered is crazy. But what I ended up learning is that there are opportunities out there for you to get good quality stuff at a decent price. I can't go into a lot of details, etc. I don't have plugs myself, but I learned that if you are able to get it printed, you could probably find a high quality person that'll sell in bulk and let you deal with that. Personally, I would never want to deal with printing myself. I'm not that kind of guy, but it
I
is attainable.
I would love that because me, I'm thinking like fucking dope ass prints and shit. Like me, I'm trying to like flex. Like I was looking at fashion for a while though, but like different kind of fashion, not like just this shit. Like I used to watch like in fashion television channel, like people doing like high class runway. Like I'm into like crazy type like clothes and stuff, but like it's hard to like make clothes. I would love to actually be able to make a sweater and stuff. But again, it's like a lot of time. But for example, if you were to learn how to make clothes, what investment, man? Like, you're actually really so valuable to the community. Like, when everything shuts down, you think anything's gonna matter? No. But if you know how to fucking make clothes, like you're gonna matter very much because you
Big
can fucking
facts.
you know what I mean? And it's just really great. Like this is really great quality. I know a lot of great bulk retailers that I can check out for lower quality sweaters. It's just the print. The print is usually like more expensive when you
No,
get
I'm
it
gonna be
done,
real
but
with
it
you though.
depends.
I'm gonna be
It
real
depends.
with you. This sweater is one of those good quality sweaters. I've washed it 1,000 times. It's still fucking proper looking, and it feels nice to wear it. Like it still feels nice to wear it, so I keep wearing it. But if it got like kind of weird after a while because it was a lower quality sweater, I wouldn't wear it for as long. I think if it's about popping off on your brand and that high quality shit, like listen, I've come to the at least this is for me, right? Maybe I'm just in a privileged position, but I'm realizing that buying that $60 $70 sweater is gonna last
Yeah,
longer and thus be a better economic investment than going to like Walmart and buying that bullshit that fades and doesn't feel right after 2 months.
that's what I'm thinking right now. That's why right now my focus for clothing and stuff is really, really quality. Like I have had people say like, "Oh, can I buy your stuff right now?" I'm like, "Not right now," because even this that I'm doing, that I have right now, this is the only one that I'm making. The print is going to be better quality even when I give it to my people than this. So
Mm.
it's like, and this is really great quality already, but just like I'm testing out my designs. Anything I sell is I have to trial it out for a while before I give it. Like for example, like it has to work well. I'm not gonna sell you shit because I wouldn't want to be sold shit. You know what I mean? I'm very like that. I don't
No, I
care about
feel
money.
you.
money's gonna come after. It's quality over quantity. You know what I mean?
That's like
Like
that's how a lot of big business is done. Like if you look at the tech industry, there's two ways to do it. You have people who try to rush it and try to get shit out real quick. Try to, and I like so even a younger me with my approach to a lot of things, I was kind of like that. I tried to rush. I tried to value quantity as a big measure of stuff, but then I realized that people will actually stick through quality. They'll stick around, right? And I think a little bit was YouTube. YouTube lied to everybody. YouTube made it sound like, yo, you have to make videos every day. You have to do this. You have to do that. And then it turned out that YouTube was like, yeah, fuck it. If your shit's good, that's good enough. And that seemed to also be a thing that also happened. So, like, I know for myself that impacted me heavy. But now I'm looking at the world and I'm like, yo, let's be real. You put, like, I put out like 10, 11 songs this year, and I guarantee you people are only going to remember one. They're only going to remember one song I put out this year. That's it. Why? Because it was that much more quality than the entire rest of the last project, which it doesn't matter what I like or how I feel. If I'm being real with you, I know I tried harder on the other song. I know that that song was better. And it made me realize a lot of things looking at the impact over the last couple of months, right? So the way that you're taking your approach with your fashion line is kind of like that. So the tech industry is supposed to do. It puts out a little beta product, a little bullshit product. It gets some people out there. They use it. They put ratings on the App Store. They make it better. Kind of like you put out your press run. You're wearing this right now. People are going to see it. You're going to go, that was dope. That was not dope. That was whatever. But along the way, you're going to see it. Do people still think it's dope in 3 months, in 4 months? In a way that a good app idea, the V1, they test it out. Then they make improvements. They get the next one out. And then finally is ready, is good to go, and you drop the fucking full thing because you figured out the formula. So I love the fact that you're sharing that because people are like in a rush with marketing, I think sometimes. Like, look, in my head, I want everything I'm doing with these interviews to be at 1 million views tomorrow, because in my head, I want that, of course. But at the same time, can I handle that? Can I really do it right? Do I know yet? Is this even like the best version of this show? I don't fucking know. I just started doing this by like this level of everything. I'm making it up as I go along. I don't even fucking have like a real
oh
floated.
shit, man, you flex hard, man. That's amazing. Like I was telling you, before this interview, I had an interview before this for my fitness stuff about like
Right.
half an hour before, and I was telling, um, like everything comes perfectly how it's supposed to at this time. We want our things the way we want it now, but know that you're working and know it's gonna come out. It is time, not your time. So be patient and know that everybody's gonna get their thing at their time.
Nah.
Because to one's development of, like, for example, one of the questions that he had asked me is like, what is your New Year's resolution? I said to be focused on internally things that really I desire.
Fresh.
Uh, and thank you very much. I appreciate it. And it's like, knowing that like sometimes you're gonna be in mode where you're gonna be like working physically towards your dreams, and sometimes it's gonna be a little bit of pause where you're working more spiritually. You see, and know that the balance and the time is gonna come perfectly at its time, and it's gonna be one day it's gonna be like shit. It just clicked. Like, yo, I had like in the last 3 weeks, I've had probably like 7 interviews, and I
That's
didn't, I
nuts.
didn't ask anybody to give me, I didn't ask anybody to give me interviews and stuff. You see, so everything comes at its time. Sometimes you think you're ready, well, you're gonna be like fucking blast off in no time, for real, man. That your
Well, I
interviews are
mean,
like,
this whole
I
thing is it's crazy. Honestly, like I don't want to brag about how I feel like things are going, but like I got to talk to a dude that people have heard of. Like I got to talk to this guy Iron Solomon, and he's so cool. He was such a cool
yeah,
guy to talk to.
he's amazing.
But people
You're
have heard of him. It was tripping me out. Like I felt like wow. It was like that's big, and
no,
like there's so many people in the city that are hitting me up for this. I'm like, wait, because for me, this is month 49 of behind that suit. That is month
that's
49.
amazing.
So like it's crazy.
Congratulations.
And I mean, like to me, it's like crazy as you're saying all this, right? Because your story did take a lot of time too, and that's huge. But look at what's going on in your world. I mean, I didn't even know there were that many people doing interviews on that kind of shit in the world. Like I don't even know that much about what's going out there. But
Wow. Yeah, fuck. It's really great. Just keep on doing what you're doing. Everything comes. Sorry, my hand
no,
got a
but
little shaky.
yo, this is big for me, yo. Because first of all, I wanted to make sure that people knew that this isn't gonna be dude land. Okay, like that was really big for me. Like it's actually crazy because you're like the first female guest that's popped on since I've been doing the lives. Not the first one on the channel. I did have a couple of ladies misunderstood and Lil Az that came through one time before. But like you're like this is big. You got the live audience here. Yo, thanks Lemef. Lemef is like complimenting me and he's a sweet guy.
Thank you everybody for coming and joining us. A shout out to you guys, everybody.
Yo, it's crazy. We still at 9 people. It's gone up and down a little bit, but we've been still averaging a good fucking number because you're interesting and you got some cool shit going on for reals. That's the truth of it. But yo, for me, it's a big moment because I want to make sure that ladies know that this is also important. Like I'm not gonna lie, there's about four. I have a bunch of people I want to book. There's a few girls I want to get in, like more than I care about the guys. Cause yo, I think like just knowing there's a whole side of that city that a lot of people aren't aware of is huge, right? Like I don't know how many people even know that. Yo, I don't know her name. I can't remember it, but I know when she posts, she's like this promoter lady, and she's got like this list over this festival that she had. It was like 50 fucking women MCs in like the city that she dropped on this list, and I'm like, they're doing this shit, and I'm like, holy crap, that's like a huge part of the scene that needs to be bragged about and shit. So I feel like Andréane Bohemier, that is exactly who it is. Lemef, you are correct. It is her. She's pretty fucking cool is all I'm saying. She's so big into the scene like that. Like I love what she does. But yeah, so like I think like, you know, just having you here like makes it look more inviting. It's not just like dude land, you know what I'm saying? Like this is fun. It's just chill. It's just, you have so much to share. It's so fucking cool.
And you're absolutely amazing. Like I love an interview that's like both back and forth talking, you know, it doesn't make you like okay, like you know, it's great.
It was made a little bit clear to me that if I just make this about the artists and I don't actually make sure that my personality is there, it is not my show, and therefore I'm not a draw, and that's bad news bears for the longevity of my success. So, but what I try to do is make the beginning part of it a lot more the artist not rambles, but like speaks more quickly, and then I time it. After about an hour and a half, I start getting a little more assertive and opinionated, unless something like fucking dope comes up. Cause yo, I love the idea of like what Joe Rogan does with it. It's a conversation. We're just homies talking, you know what I'm saying? That's kind of like the style here. And I think that it gets people thinking like, you know what? I never really thought that I would be sitting here talking about like fitness and health and shit when I started this picturing it, but then I saw you doing your thing, and I'm not gonna lie. It's more than the fact that you did music that made I was like, I'm hoping we're gonna talk about some hell shit. Yo, I did the lose weight song. I should probably fucking do some hell shit.
Fuck yeah. When I seen that, I was like, I need to jump on that shit. I love a challenge that's like, okay, you have something to talk about and you just fucking flex it. It just gives you such creativity to work with, because I feel like in every situation there's so many like different like views of the situation.
I think it's cool that you wrote that in like 20 minutes.
Oh my god.
So you've also, because sorry, I don't mean to like cut you off, because there's another interesting thing, because as much as it's fun to talk about that contest, you put out what, 2-3 track EPs and like what, 2 singles in the last 3 or 4 months?
Yeah, there was Nevermind, there was What Is Me, there's Roses, there's I, and there's In the Fields.
So I just want to make sure we talk about all of this too. Tell us about how all of these projects came to be, what they mean to you, you know, like just a bit about this part of your journey, because they're very different sonically.
Oh yes, it's true, very true. So Nevermind is like all the people that say, oh, you're not gonna be anything in your life. Oh, you cannot do this. Oh, you sound whatever you're gonna sound. And then you're just checking off your fucking checklist right in front of their face, and you say your audacity that you had. You know, so that was never mine. It's me being like, all of the time they say never mind, and then I was just like a little bit like how like I'm just gonna like dive in to what it is, you know, like never mind what they say, I'm just going for it. Then What Is Me is like uh, like what is me, here's me, here I am, like this is like, this is me, no matter what you see, it is me, and I'm gonna be what I am, no matter what you think of it, no matter how it appeals to you, no matter how you feel. Then my other one, Roses, is like how I am. She's just like a rose to the point she be cold. She knows what she wants and get what she wants. And then after she was like, and the little spice part is like, She knows how to play sexy as fuck. It's like anything, like I'm hot and I'm just like a rose, and like also like a rose is like soft but pointy. So I'm very like I'm very nice, but I'm very fucking bold, like in your face and shit. You know what I mean? It was also too like um, how a person like takes what they want and it's theirs. It's so many different emotions in every song. Um, in the field was like you think you know what I'm capable of, and you thought it would be this way, but it's actually this way. Like I proved you wrong. Like a lot of this, as I said, a lot of a lot of the songs are like situations. So it'd be like a lot of it's crazy. A lot of songs that I write, it's like things of doubt. People try to doubt or like pick on you and stuff. Then I'm like, oh yeah, like I don't try to like write a song off it, but like some emotion, whatever changes in my life, like through this whole time of all those tracks, it's been my life of letting go things that are important to me and readapting to new things that are better for me, that are more important. You
So
see?
I got a question because something
Yeah.
that's come up a lot, and I think marketing choices are also very interesting for the people. Now, I put out a 10-track project. It was 9 songs and a little intro, and I noticed by track 5, everybody stopped listening. I put
Mm.
out a bunch of singles, and they all got like repeat listens, and people were feel like paying attention. They were quoting lyrics. I'm not trying to like gas myself up. I'm just saying this is what I noticed with my shit. Why I say that is because I learned along the way that like 3-4 songs seems to be the new magic number, and I noticed that you did 2 3-track releases and then a bunch of singles. So, but earlier when you did your first project, it was a bigger
Yeah,
release. It had more
10.
songs in it. So the question
Wow.
is, how did you get to that point where you were like, I want to release smaller projects? Why did you do that?
Well, honestly, like, oh wow, it's crazy. I love how you so pinpointed and see that. It takes somebody really amazing to be doing that. So shout outs to you because that's
I
really
appreciate
fucking
that.
very good, very great, absolutely amazing. I love that. Um, I write songs at the time, so I can't be like, okay, I'm just gonna write a song. Like I can, but like I feel it's more valuable if I have something to say. I'm very much like if I have something to say, then I write a song. So it just happened to be in the life experience that like when I did do 10 tracks, I hadn't been to this. That was like my first album, that 10 track one. That was the first album I did. Before that, one of the songs was like Orange Eyes, and that was like more visual arts of like if I were to do like a music video. But like the one that had 10 tracks, it was like I had written songs every day. Like I was writing for a while. At one point, I was writing every single day, like almost every day for like a year, just random shit. Like I have books of fucking writing and writing that I can make tracks and that I have put on tracks. But like for me, when I write tracks, it's more like I write it and then I'm kind of like, okay, it's over. I feel like I don't know if everybody's like that. I just write it and then
Yo,
after I'm like,
I'm
oh,
like absolutely the opposite.
really?
So I have 2 versions of this shit. I have what I call throwaway shit. So like these contest verses, I do throwaway shit. I try very little. It's more of a writing exercise. I just want to write a verse fast. It's important to me to do it quickly, and it's about doing it. So like the last one I did, I had the whole thing wrapped up and recorded in 90 minutes of effort. That to me is like the goal of that type of shit. Or I'll write acapellas. That shit is not trying. I'm just trying to like go fast and work on writing quickly on those exercises. But then I have songs. So the problem is I want to get my beat and I want to own my beat. I don't
Yeah,
care how it is. It's always been important to me. I'm
yeah,
actually
me too.
considering going different routes for like accessibility, but in general, I'm proud to say that like every single song I've made, with the exception of
Yeah,
one lease,
people,
and that was part of it. I did this lease, and it's a good song I wrote on that. I think so. Whatever. You don't have to agree. But like the next person said, "Yo, that's a G-Job beat." I saw that in the contest, and I'm like, and it just smashed me. Like my ego couldn't handle that. Like I don't care if it's like a silly thing, but I couldn't handle that. So every other beat, I'm the only person that used the beat in my whole catalog, right?
Yeah, that's
So
the thing.
with
It's
that,
important. Oh,
I'm
it's
also the
like,
kind of guy that I don't like producing. I'm not really into it. I want that beat to be like done. You give me that shit, and I know where the chorus is because you told me where the fucking chorus is in the beat, and I know where the shit is, and then it's like boom, boom. I go, what does this song make me feel? But by then I wrote the song, but it's mine now. I got this shit. But like, I'm not gonna not use it because yo, that's like a song. If I got the beat and the beat gave me the feeling, then it's a song. Even if it's a bad song, I almost feel like I would rather put it out because I made that song. And that's not like 1,000% true, but I got like a bank. I want to go re-record like 50, 60 things that like I just didn't have the means of recording once upon a time. But all of them to me, I want them out one day. I'm actually talking to my producer now about like, yo, I got this shit. What if I send you a reference and you redo the beats like this? Because I wrote this over karaoke shits. I can't use any of this music. So like to me, it's like I latch on. I don't like to let go once it's a song. But that throwaway shit, it's
stop
like
doing
done.
it. It's because for I have to invest in more in doing that because for me, as I said, it's expression. I don't try to write songs ever since I was younger. Remember, I said at the beginning, like I was
Mm.
writing, and it would turn to songs. So for me, it's like I just write and it's like okay, but and then after I sometimes like I look back on my tracks and I'm like, holy fuck, man, the shit I write is like what, like really intense, you know. And I should actually, it makes me think I should like really take the time to invest because even people have been telling me lately, like yo, like some people be like, yo, who's that person? Like, see on the phone, they're like, listen to my shit. I'm like, oh my. They're like, who's that person? They're like, oh shit, it's like Sammieec and shit. But I'm like, just like, I think sometimes give yourself less credit
Mm.
than you deserve, you know, because you're just like whatever. Like for example, in both ways, like in my writing, like I know it's good and stuff, but I could, if I were to be like promoting my music and shit more and like really consistent, like yo, I'd probably like fucking blow up with my shit. You know what I mean? And I just like whatever, like I'm just like okay, like I'm not saying that I'm like whatever, but like I'm like if it's supposed to be, it's supposed to be. You know what I mean? I kind of like a song to me. It's like I know it's great, but I like don't hold on to it.
Well,
But
it's
it's
also
very good
like,
to be
let
like
me ask you a question though. So like, because that's tied into like an interesting thing. Like, what is success even, right? Like, you know what I found out? I found out some mom is bumping and is literally going lose weight, motherfucker, lose weight. A mom somewhere is singing that shit. I'm like, I mean, yeah, money's nice, but
oh
I
my,
don't know how many people can flex that some mom somewhere singing their hook. I don't know. To
that's
me, that's a cool flex. So like, I realized that like success is evolving in how I see it over time. It used to be a lot of money and attention, and now it's more like influence and reach. Like, I'm gonna be real with you. If I could have all the power without any of the fame, that would be amazing at this point in my life. If I could like create like personas and shit and just like kind of move it all out. But nah, my face is all over everything, so cat's out the bag. I'm gonna roll with this shit. But like end of the day, I'm like I used to want the fame, and now I'm more interested in like I want to be able to like influence things in a positive way. You know, that's my dream in life. I
it's
guess you could
funny.
say those kids are inspiring the shit out of me right now because they're
It's
all trying to
crazy.
be influencers and stuff. Get it? I'm okay. I'm not that funny. I know.
It's so crazy that you say that because it's like like kind of the opposite ish. Because like me, like yo, I've been like before like a hermit and shit almost. Like a lot of my life I spend in my room and shit, like fucking working on my crafts and just doing myself. And like now, like God or universe, whatever, using me to like fucking be a person that's like a public figure or whatever, you know. So it's kind of very in a way different for me that like I'm starting to get like more attention on my shit, which is great. You know, I have to like get more used to like that, like actually have that support, you know what I mean?
Mm.
So like it's fucking it's really
Yo,
beautiful to like develop and shit and like see that like sometimes you're doing stuff and it's like you just do them like whatever, but like you're making more of an impact than you think with the smallest things, you know?
big
And
facts.
yeah, and it's really like impactful. Like just this interview is just like wow, you know. And I'm sure for yourself, you seeing like I feel like when you have deep discussions with people, you see in yourself more of what like is so great for yourself, you know. And I feel it's so beautiful that like First of all, you're seeing your potential, and I'm seeing my potential by you doing this show, even, and me stepping and doing
Big
this too.
facts. Yo, my
So
head.
like it's like, bro, like we're just gonna get everything we want. Like we're stepping ourselves up for greatness when you put yourself out there, you know. And like for me, like as I said during the interview before, like in the middle of it was like I'm kind of like a little bit awkward and shit. So when I would be like talking to people and be like kind of myself, so now it's like making myself more like I'm community person, but I'm kind of like I don't look like I'm shy, but I am shy at the same time. So like being open and community, like yeah,
No,
it's
I'm
crazy.
not. Yo, my personality is so fucked right now. Like, I'm trying to learn how to be both an internet person and myself at the same time, right? Like, cause it's hard. Like, I'm not
You
saying
are
I'm
both
popping,
already.
but like, all of a sudden, I went from like 3 likes, except for like the occasional picture, to like literally sometimes 50 to 70 comments going down in the fucking threads. And it's like, okay, this is like cool. Like, I thought I wanted this really fast, but no, it's actually scary a little bit, right? Because now all of a
That's
sudden, you say one wrong thing and maybe a motherfucker's gonna come at you in the DMs or whatever, and you say, and then you start
so
noticing other stuff from other people. I don't know. It's like okay, but it's
it's
good.
just
Like don't
different
get me wrong.
now.
This
Just
is the
different now. That's what I'm saying.
best.
That's what I said. It's gonna come. We were talking at the beginning. I was like, bro, like everything's gonna come not at your time. It's gonna come at his time. And you know why God or whatever guys you fucking does that? Because it would be overwhelming. Like you know how something is so trippy when it's so exciting. Like you
Yeah.
can't even catch yourself. Like yo,
Sometimes I'm sitting there and it's like I can't even focus, right? Because like I'm just trying to process, like, oh my god, this is working.
it's
Holy
real
shit.
too,
And it's
and
like
it's
people are
real.
feeling it. Like, oh my gosh, this is not like is yo, like it's like nobody gave a shit. Nobody gave a shit. Nobody gave a shit.
Uh,
Oh my
and you
gosh, like all of a sudden people are saying some crazy wild shit to me and I'm like, yo, like even Lemef giving me props in this chat. It's like, yo, are you for real? Like this is real shit. Like Lemef wins championships and shit and he's giving me props and shit. Like
That's
I mean,
you know what it is. You know what it is. You're not flex, but you know what I'm
man,
saying. Like, yo, keep on doing your things. You know what I realized, and it's crazy. It's really crazy. I had an interview before this, and we were like talking about kind of the same things. Like, yo, I said everything happens at its time, and it's like beautifully working out, and this is your reality. So, as I said in the one before, it was like if it's your reality and you see it already, it is what it is. You see, so step into what it is and
yo, I
shit.
mean,
Don't
here's the thing. Like people talk
don't
about
doubt.
like fun shit. Like I'm just like listen, you know what I like to do for fun? This.
Yeah, that's the
Honestly,
thing.
this to me, like I keep saying it to people, but like look, my girlfriend has heard everything I've said, okay? She's heard it all. We've been in the same fucking room for like 9 months and shit, okay? Like she's heard it all. So for me, this is like, yo, I get to talk about shit she doesn't care about with people who care about it. Not to say she doesn't care, but like I
She's
said,
fucking
she's
awesome. That's a fucking awesome girl, man. Keep that girl forever.
yo, absolutely, she's the best. Yo, she's straight up
I
so
bet you,
helpful.
man. Because
She's
that's
part of
fucking
keeping this
amazing.
alive and everything. Like she stepped up, all that good shit. But
Shout
like
outs to you. Shout outs to your girl, man. Because that's absolutely amazing. You need, and you sorry. Excuse me, I'm smoking piff. You know what it is.
shout out
Um,
Bonnie big time.
But like I'm saying that because you need people that are supportive, and it's very important. We have a lot of I was talking about this before. We have a lot of conditioning in our mind. That conditioning is not it's not good enough, or people are not gonna like it, or people are gonna see it a certain way. Like step out of that and know that that's not even the truth. You know what I mean? Your truth is your
Yo,
reality, what
for
you
real
know.
though, let me just talk about her for a quick second. Like I'm a paranoid, anxious motherfucker behind closed doors, so she has to put up with all that shit. So like sometimes I'll just like remember something from like 2 weeks ago and say some shit, and then she's like, "What the fuck are you even talking about?" Like she has to put up with all sorts of weird shit, and she's just actually that incredible. But like,
You know what the
it's
thing is? That's love, and it's a basic.
I
That's
know
real.
it is. That's why I'm cool with like saying that because I'm even if I don't know if she's still listening, but if she is, she's gonna feel it. But like it's true though. Like it's about the thing is like yo, I was thinking about as you were just talking to dudes, right? Sometimes we panic in moments a lot. And we think some dumbass shit, we think maybe what's really dope in front of our faces isn't actually really dope sometimes. But yo, honestly, if you're actually like paying attention to it half the time, like yo, like what you're saying, like it's because we're being hard on ourselves. It's more of an introspective thing. Like it's not that she has an issue with some shit. Honestly, my brain just made it up. It just made up some shit.
Oh, for real, no, it's also too like past references on fucking other shit, like other times you went through experience. So you're like references, like, but that's like all fucking bullshit and nonsense. You don't even have to think about that kind of stuff, you know? Like how I switched my mind. A lot of people say like my Get It Fitness SC, I was saying that's what it's about. Change your mind, change your life. When I talk about personal training, I'm not talking about your only body, your personal training. So that's your mind, your body, your spirit. That's why your
Mm.
personal training. You see? So like fucking get that shit aligned and know that like you're creating your reality and think great things because you are gonna create great things. And if you want
Yeah,
great,
I
how you gonna
totally.
get great things if you're fucking getting like shit or talking like shit? You know,
Yo, I'm
doesn't work.
absolutely just an anxious person, but I totally think great things. She's wonderful though, cause yo, she's yo for real. Big facts. Along the, I don't think I'd be here without like her actually taking the time to just be like, "You're stupid. What are you talking about?" Like literally every day, she's like, like, "What are you talking about? Like people like you. What are you talking about? Look at what you did yesterday." Like I swear, I'll forget that like I just did something incredible 8 minutes ago, and I'll just be like I'm a
I know,
fucking loser in my head and some shit, and then she'll be like, "Nah, you're a fucking idiot." I mean, we're love language like that. That's how we talk to each other with
but
love.
you know what though? Go and do internal, go through meditation and reconditioning because then you're gonna you don't want to you want to create the best mind state so you grow beautiful uh, flowers for yourself
That's a
because
big facts.
you don't want to bleed that for yourself because you're so amazing and you know
Nah,
that too.
so like I
It's
know all of
true.
that. It's just
I'm
that
being serious and
it's
I'm not saying
moment
that
to
you
moment.
said
It's
that.
just
I'm saying
so here's the
no.
thing, like it's hard to like accept that. Right, it's new that okay, like it went from like like I said, it's a lot of the attention I've been getting is positive, and I don't know that people know how hard it is to go from people. Look, 3 4 years ago, motherfuckers was like laughing at this shit, right? Like
I
it was a
know,
joke at
bro.
work, and now it's like people's giving me all the love on every angle of my fucking life, and I'm like psychologically, I'm like, yo, this is
I
fucking
know.
weird. I don't even know how to process this shit properly. I
I know
love
me
it.
too.
I'm grateful. I understand it. I look. It's gonna take a couple. It's like it's just an adjustment more than it's anything else. My brain is adjusting to the fact that like, yo, I did the right things and the right things gave me the right rewards, and that's like weird, right? Because that's not the chaotic dysfunction that like I come from. It's the opposite. It's like I did the right thing, and I'm like, wait, when's it gonna disappear? It's not. It's there. It's real. And I'm like, holy shit.
Yes. Oh my god, yes, me too. Let's have like a trip too. Yeah, me too. Oh my god. And it's really trippy because you're like not sure if it's you're like constantly like is it real or not, but like know that you deserve great things and shit.
Like
And like
people
I
say
understand
that a
you know
lot, but it's
it
hard, you
too.
know.
I know it is hard, trust. I'm going through it too hard. Remember that a lot of people are going through the same thing as you are, eh?
Somebody
Always
said
remember
that to
that.
me today. He said, "You know what? Don't be afraid." Yo, shut up, Merker Miyagi. I don't even care. He gets the credit. He said, "You know what? You talked about some shit. Like I talked about borderline personality disorder a little bit on the last one, and I realized, yo, I'm talking about mental health and sharing, and maybe people can connect and shit, right? I wrote
Yeah,
some shit about
everybody can.
reprioritizing. I didn't know that regular shit was so important to people. Like I don't know. This is shit I never talked about my whole life, really." And it's like,
Yeah.
yo, you're right. Like maybe like actually having these conversations have like a bigger impact than I'm even aware of because yo, I feel like a lot of people might not be as willing to open up. I'm not really that willing. This is hard. This is a hard thing to even because there's people watching and shit, you know?
But yo, you know what's absolutely beautiful though? That look at this, Lo. This is what, and I find it's great because it's absolutely beautiful because you are so used and I'm so used from whatever we've gone through to help somebody else. You know what I mean? And with both our platforms, we're both doing that. And look, just us talking, you're healing your heart. I'm healing my heart by expressing our being, and we're healing other people
Mm,
that are talking. So it's absolutely amazing that we can like give keys and help guide people of what we've been going through, you know. And you know what I've realized one of the biggest things is uh yeah, it's fucked up. It's so fucked up because like the psychology of our experiences had got our mind fucked up and shit, like what people say and do and all this fucking bullshit. But the thing is, what I really process is like people don't not believe in you. They don't
mm.
understand what you're doing. So they're
Big
fucking questionable.
facts.
They're
Like,
questionable. It's like, yo, bro, they're like, what the fuck is going on? Like, even me too. Like, yo, you look at GTF. What the fuck is GTF? So people don't even know GTF is more than fucking Get It Fitness to See. Also, give thanks for Soul Connect. That's what it is too, man. Soul Connect. I wouldn't be able to do anything without my guidance. Also, get it. You can do Get It Fitness SC. You know what I mean? Yo, there's many shit, but it's like, it's not. It's not about what you're doing. It's the impact of
so
who you
it's like,
are that's gonna leave the impact. People don't have
what's
to
crazy
understand.
is like we have this guy Zed in the chat here, and he says lots of knowledge nuggets tonight, right? And so like this whole knowledge nuggets thing, I just made that up because I thought it was a cool idea. I stole it from someone. I don't remember who I stole it from, so I didn't make it up.
Okay. Everything, a lot of things are stolen, but it's
But like
universe.
the fact that he's saying it, here's the thing: I don't actually know him. I met him on like Twitch in a chat somewhere. Like it's just completely organic in that sense, and it's like I guess that's impact. It's like a living example of what you're talking about, which it trips me the fuck out. You're gonna be somebody I remember for the rest of my life. The chat's over there, so I know you're over there, but the chat's over there for me. Anyway, like I'm never gonna forget this guy, like forever, because it's like wow, like that's so cool. Like that's so cool.
It's small things that you don't even realize, yo. Like I see some people coming up to me that fucking like you look at people and you don't realize how much you talk and you leave wisdom for other people to see. And then after you realize, like, me, I didn't realize how much when I talk, I leave a lot of information or guidance, I guess, to people that people start coming to me and they're like, when they come to talk to me, you can see that they're waiting for me to tell something that's going to be like, and I'm just like, oh, like, like it's crazy how you're beautifully used. And as I said, it's never about what you're doing, it's what your expression is, what you can give of the being you are. Because at the end of the day, nobody gives a shit what you did. It's how they made you made them feel and what they relate and what they understand, you see. But everything, this is why I realized some matrix shit, keys from the day, keys from the night. It's like everything you think is then shown to you on expression on external watch. If you took that down, bro, you're gonna see in fucking matrix shit the next day. Everything you think is then shown to you externally after. So keep your thoughts very clear because you're gonna get shown what is popping. But
I don't
like,
know. I believe in that kind of. So I have this weird theory, right? So I believe in God. I don't necessarily believe in
yeah,
religion, but I believe in God. And I think God talks to us in this weird way where in my manifestation, and this is not anybody else, this is how I interpret it, it's
yeah,
I'll be feeling away and several different people from unrelated sources in a very short period of time will say the same shit with different language. Just so like it's like, yo, this is not connected. Shut the fuck up and listen, homie. This is the real message coming to you live and direct. And so I like when you see those memes, like if you saw a younger self, what would you say in 4 words? It's always shut the fuck up and listen or whatever. Why? Because it's that. I didn't listen when I was younger, so I missed a lot of those messages that kept me in tune with the world. And so even like in conversations like this, you're talking about health and being in tune, and I'm like, yo, my emotions have been off, but has my health been proper? Have I been doing those things? I'm on vacation next week. I'm getting back in tip top shape. Then I don't give a shit. But like, yo, like I start thinking about it. It's like, yo, maybe I let
shout out
myself
to
slip a little
you.
bit.
Shout out to you because like yo, I gotta give this guy fucking shout outs all the time. He's always flexing on this shit. So he got his fucking Fitbit, as you guys know, and he did a competition, bro.
Yeah.
Of steps or whatever.
Yo,
And bro,
Fitbit's
guys
nuts.
were competing and running and shit, bro. I was like laughing. So I loved it so much. The beauty to see your commitment and things are absolutely amazing. I hope you always remember and keep that and know that because you're gonna get everything. If you're always consistent like this, how can you not get anything you want?
I totally do feel like that in my soul, but I try not to. Like, look, I have an issue with my ego. So I went through this phase where I was super
Not
arrogant,
you're
right?
not
And
in survivor mode. Sorry to
no,
interrupt you. Your ego's for survival.
but like,
You're
hear me
not
out though. So I'm not good at judgment sometimes. So young me, egos like this, arrogant as shit, nothing to back it up. It was bad news bears. So then I'm not good at balance, right? So to offset that, I beat the shit out of my ego, and I crushed it.
it's
And then it
hard.
was like, okay, now
Like
I'm
we
humble as fuck, etc. And then people are like, bro, this is hip hop. You got to be like this. And I'm like, oh shit. So now I actually have to like find that balance of like, yo, I can brag about stuff kind of to a degree. What level? Like, it's hard. Like, I don't know these rules. Like, this is what I call like middle class normative shit. I don't know that. I didn't grow up with it. It's the common sense is not common to me. It's a lot of weird rules that have specific nuances attached to traditions and customs that were not around me when I grew up. So that is my reality, kind of navigating the world. People make jokes, and I'm like, yo, you just said something insulting. And they're
you're
like, no,
so
I was joking, bro. And I'm like,
how
I
you
don't
are.
understand your fucking joke. How is, oh, okay, now I get it's a joke. But by then it's too late. It's over. You ruined the joke for everyone.
But you know what? That's what I realized. Nobody has to understand. Oh my God, where you
Don't
at?
worry. You good. You good. You were still here. We hear you.
Okay, we're here. Yes, yes. Sorry about
There
that.
you are. You are back with us.
The mic tape, man. You know what it is. That's a real shit. But where are we going?
I don't remember exactly. We're in like those like
Awesome.
flex
You're
where
so
I'm
awesome.
like, this is like one of those conversations though where like after I'm gonna be like, what the fuck did I just say on camera? That is absolutely what's gonna happen after. Yo, it's
Oh,
just what it
yeah,
is.
back. This is where we
What?
went back to. Remember that nobody has to understand. And it's your being to understand and take things and express things how you do. And nobody is supposed to understand that they will either adapt or not. That's what I realized for myself too. It's like I had some people I'd send music and they'd be like, okay, like thumbs up, whatever. They'd be like, whatever, I don't really like it or whatever the thing is. And I have to understand that my how I feel about it is all that matters because the rest always will change. If I look at what they think, it's always gonna change.
That's big
If I look at
facts.
yeah, if I
Like
look
what?
at how I'm gonna fucking take it, bro, it's gonna be how I'm changing, how I'm developing. So try to flex on me when I know how the fuck I am, man. You know what I mean? That's why like sometimes like I can seem like really cockier in your face. Sometimes it's just like a rose pointing and go. You know what I mean? But it's because like like you're making it happen. You know what it is. You don't have to explain. And if you know what is true to you, who the fuck is anybody to tell you
But
anything?
it's just
Like,
like what's crazy is like at the end of the day, it's also simple, right? Like here's the parts of your story. Let me break it down real quick because it's basically the same parts of my stories and anybody else's. Yo, I studied a lot of rich people, successful habits. I read a lot of books, blah blah blah. It's all the same fucking shit. You visualized your future and what you felt. You lived in true self awareness to who you are. You worked on growth and development. Like here's my New Year's resolution. It's the same one the last 9 years. Be better than last year. It doesn't have to be harder than that. I haven't failed in 9 years. That's a dope thing. I don't know how many people that can say that, but I didn't make stupid goals. I made really vague, easy to obtain goals. Like just you'll be better. It's not that hard to be better than last year. Yes, you might fuck it up. I've been fortunate. I'm being honest, but you should be able to have a good win ratio on that goal in general in life, you know? So you applied that logic to your life. You also were super open minded. A lot of things you did are just what the kids are doing. That's what I thought was super weird, right? Like, yo, the kids don't think. They just do. And so much of your shit, you just don't think. You just did. You just felt it out. You were just like running with it. And like everything was so health oriented. So like health is really important too. I lost weight. People like me more. I mean, it is what it is. People can say what they want about whatever, but it's like a reflection of attitude, right? Because to lose weight, you have to be a certain way. And people kind of are more attracted to that version of a person than the one that gains weight just because it's related to laziness and shit. Like, even on
it's
this.
it's so sucky. Sorry I interrupted you, but it's I so like as I said. Remember, I lost a lot of weight and I came back and people realized me. So even people that were like they'd be like telling me like, "Yo, you're like fucking fat as fuck," like yo, like shit. They'd be like coming and be like, "What's good?" After I'm like, "What the fuck?" Come to me like that, you know what I mean? Like people are gonna act different when you change, you know what I mean? And then you fucking decide how the fuck it goes, switch your shit and
It's
level
true,
up.
though. But like the thing is I did change. And that's something that I like realized. Like, I'm not actually the person that I used to be because of
Yeah,
all
look at
these
last
healthy
year.
habits.
Look at last year. I'm sure you're a lot developed more than last year, or the year before. Like you always see how far you come. You have to look at that. Like, bro, like it's crazy.
Nah, but it's cool. This was definitely an awesome chat. So big question then. What is happening in the near future that people are watching for? Actually, are you down to perform? Oh, we never did talk about my show. I was gonna book you for that. What are your plans for like performing? Not that there's a huge story there. I was gonna partner with Make a Wish and I booked Sammy, and then COVID hit and that shit smashed out 4 days before the lockdown. So like the 20th was was my show, and the 16th was the fucking the end of the live music scene in Montreal for a long time. But how do you feel about internet rapping? Because you know what was super cool about Sammy here? Sammy was sitting there and found out what the end of the week was. So what did Sammy do? She actually hit me up for the Zoom. And then Sammy jumped on the Zoom. And then Sammy was there. And she maybe didn't stay a long time, whatever, but she actually showed up. And I'm like, that's fucking fire.
Antisocial. I got not antisocial. I got like a little bit shy and awkward. I told you I'm awkward sometimes. So I'm trying to like break that. But it's going to be good. I would love to check out further ones that are coming, like freestyle and all that stuff. I would love to participate
So
in
yeah,
that.
the freestyle one I believe is Thursdays at 10 p.m. You can hop in and do that shit. And the Sunday one, if I'm not mistaken, are a bit more about writtens. Lemef is confirming he saw you on the Zoom on Sunday. So yeah, that's what it is. Lemef saw you pop in there. That's like real shit.
Yeah, I can do writtens too. Whatever I'm down for, man. Me, I'm like, this year, if you're asking me what you can expect for this year, man, a lot of more on my face. If you didn't think you see my face enough.
I love it.
We're gonna flex on motherfuckers now. No, I'm joking. I'm playing too much. But like no, for real, I want to really make a huge community. That's what I'm really looking to, and really start working with a lot more people, and really getting out of my comfort zone. Trusting, in building with a great team, and just growing in my artistry and fitness and clothing and everything. That's what I'm really expecting. Just dominate everything I touch.
Amazing. I really appreciate you being here. I feel like this is a good place to wrap it up. So thank you so much. Anyone watching this, feel free to hit the subscribe button on other channels after. Leave your comments. Let people know Samuel will definitely be back. Special thanks to the patrons, Ismail Gadamsi, Chris Pratt, Jonathan Barnes, DJ Blackheart, Linda Williams, and Scribble. They're dope. Support what we do. Patreon.com/BehindThatSuit if you want to show love. And yeah, on that note, I do love y'all. Live long and prosper, everyone.